So tonight we'll take that flight. It's the flight of our lives on our way to paradise. Imani speaks. Aisha Blender said, stay tuned.
The Imani Speaks Show.
Okay, so today we're really looking at the sexes, and we are asking the question whether there is really a battle going on, or whether it's another distraction, and maybe something else is going on that we do need to pay attention to. And is it fixable? So I'm going to put that question out to who wants to go? Mike, do you want to go first again and answer that question? Is there really a battle going on between the sexes?
It depends on how you define that battle. When you say battle, in what sense? Fighting, fists, arguing, quarreling, words. What? Explain. Elaborate a little more.
I think. What we're looking at today is, from what I'm getting from people, is relationships are not working, relationships are not lasting, people are not being not as fulfilled as they were 20-30 years ago.
All right. So therefore, let's start with this. I want to say once again, morning. We could agree to disagree, we could disagree to agree. And I think one of the problems we are facing in a lot of relationships today is, as I always say, a lot of us, both male and female, we tend to, and I keep saying that anywhere I go, I tell people, we keep focusing on the physical all the time and not the internal, the spiritual part of the other individual. And it's like you're window shopping. You see something nice going down the road, oh, I want that. Both parties. We don't get to know each other, number one. We don't, as I was saying, I think I was talking to Deanne yesterday, I was saying history. We need to start, when we get into relationships, it's always good to check someone's history, background, their family, the traits, because what you're looking at is a value system most of the time. We know back in the Caribbean, that's how it used to be. We were brought up in such a way where it's not like you jump into a relationship quick, because you have to take either the girl to see her parents and vice versa.
Definitely.
And you have to get approval, because daddy is going to question you because you're coming to take his baby girl. And mommy wouldn't really too much up in questioning the young lady for boy, but she does. And I think this is what we need to get back to now. We need to start asking questions. We need to start being raw before we start to get into relationships now. Because what normally happens these days is that everybody want a makeshift thing. We see somebody, we like them quick, we want to jump in bed with them, we believe that the sex is it. Okay, I want to marry you, we want to make children, that's it. And 15 years down the road, you realize you all are not compatible.
You mentioned 15 years down the road. That is the problem. People are not even getting, they're not even getting those numbers anymore.
Years down the road. I agree with a lot of what Michael has said. And as you say, when we talk about battles are on different levels. And I suppose loosely you could term it a battle, because there's definitely a problem with relationships. And as I said, sorry listeners, if you don't know who it's Deanne Heron. I was here with you last week, just in case you're thinking, who's that strange woman? Battles can be fought on different levels. There are physical battles, psychological battles, all kinds, and some are more damaging than others. There's definitely something going on with relationships why they don't seem to be working, and different people will say different things. But I think part of it, as Michael touched on, is the fact that we don't have the protection of the extended family anymore.
Correct.
You meet somebody, and people go to clubs and they go to wherever, and a vulnerable woman will meet perhaps an equally vulnerable young man. And they get into a relationship before they get to know each other, before they get to know the families. Whereas in the past, you would meet somebody perhaps at a family gathering, and the family would check you out. You couldn't just run off with the young person. Their brothers would be watching you, dad would be watching you, and so you had to come good, and behave in an appropriate way. I mean, obviously there were still things going on behind the scenes, but you had to once you decided that you were having a relationship, then there are certain things that are expected of you, before babies came into it. And, then children weren't damaged, I don't think, as much. But now I think people have babies far sooner than they should before they really know the person.
Correct. Yeah, you're correct. And as I said before, we tend to miss the mark most times. Again, sometimes it might sound like a recurring decimal, but we tend to miss the mark. Gone are the days when mom and dad will sit with son or daughter and discuss relationships, because of the fact that the world has been taken over so much now by the internet. Technology has taken full flight. Nobody has time now to sit around a table and discuss issues like father-daughter, mother-son, father-son, father-daughter, vice versa. So what normally happens is that we lose the mark because we haven't laid down that foundation for relationship with our children.
Foundation, that's spot on, Mike.
Yeah.
We haven't laid the foundation.
We haven't laid the foundation.
And you can't build a good house without having a solid foundation.
Exactly.
Of course the house is going to fall down.
Yeah, and the pillars actually that goes on the foundation, is actually the parent.
Yes.
Which is the home.
Parents, because often it was grandparents, great aunts, the older relatives.
Yeah.
They were the ones who helped to lay the foundation, and if they saw something that wasn't right, they said, "Oh no, don't get involved with that family." We don't, because it was a family. It was families that came together. It wasn't just two people.
As it says, it was a family affair, but it's not a family affair anymore. So what you find happening now is that a lot of young people now, as you rightly saying just now, that you go raving, you go partying, you go clubbing, you go on, you meet a young lady, you buy a beer or two for her, for a bottle of water. If you're that cheap, you buy a bottle of water, and
so if you're that cheap, you buy water rather than
I would buy a bottle of water because I wouldn't encourage the alcohol drinking. So at the end of the day, what to say that is that we tend to just love with our eyes. We love with our eyes first.
Yeah, so we look. It's more for looks rather than getting to know the
like
person.
you window shop, exactly.
Yeah.
But then when you get to know when you get to know the person later on down the relationship, is then when you start to pull the hair from your head and you start to argue, you start to fight. But you have to lay the foundation in the earlies, and I think this is what we need to attack with our young people, our youths today, our young ladies especially, because listen, there are some young ladies now just as BAD, and I'm using caps, not thing, BAD, just as young men.
Yeah, unfortunately. I don't know if it's because we're more open these days and we're aware of what people are doing. But as you say, there was a time when we thought men behaved in a certain way and women behaved in a certain way. But there are just as many women, as you say, who are quick to go and pick up men, and take them home. But do you know something, Michael? You touched on something else about the drink, where you say you'd rather buy a glass of water. And I wonder...
Not a glass of water,
a bottle of water.
You go raving and get a glass of water.
Can I just say something? We've got Lisa. Lisa has arrived. Another guest. She normally comes on with me every other Tuesday.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. And just really want to fill you in. We are talking about the battle of the sexes. And just wanted to get your take on, what your thoughts are, or do you want to hear what Deanne because Deanne and Mike, this is Mike the man here, has got some very good answers there, so they're getting really fired up. So did you want to contribute?
Well, it have to be battle of the sexes now that you came, because that's 3-1 now, isn't it?
No, we've already promised Michael that we won't beat him up too much. We'll be nice.
Well, I walked with my shield, so it will be very
I think we're all on the same page though, aren't we, ladies? We do understand.
No, we can't be on the same page. I'm the king in here. You guys are just
We're just the queen.
Yeah, you're just the queen. So I have
three queens against one king.
Well, which is good because that means you're in my kingdom, isn't it? Okay.
Well, go back to alcohol. I just want to make one quick point about alcohol. Often I wonder if it's not certain substances that are influencing people when they make decisions that perhaps are not the best. You know, even women, you know, when they pick somebody up at a party or they meet somebody for 5 minutes and then they take them home or they go home, often there's some kind of substance involved, usually alcohol. And maybe that's something we need to look at again, because drug use seems to be more widely used, you know, at the moment.
To lure one party, which is most of the time is the female party.
Well, yes. But I don't know if Lisa wants to come in there and maybe say good afternoon to the listeners and say what she thinks.
Hi. Hi everybody, good afternoon. Hope you can hear me. I'm sharing mics here. Bit of technical issues on the radio this morning. That's afternoon, sorry. So you're talking about the battle between males and females in terms of what?
The problems with relationships, so not the battle, maybe call it the battle of the sexes, but it's not, we're just talking about the problems that seem to be in relationships at the moment, right across the board, right across age ranges, and it does feel like a bit of a battle, you know, like one-upmanship, but I don't know if battle is...
We just use battle as a pretext, because what you're trying to show is that there's actually a battle going on with both male and female when it comes to relationships now, especially in this time. And I think that's probably why we say battle of the sexes. So it's not to say like, you know, you guys are going to come and punch me here, because I'm not going to tolerate that anyhow. But it's just the fact that what is happening today in relationships is more of a battle, and it's not just physical, it's also spiritual, and it's a form of understanding, which is actually supposed to start internal, not external, because the external part of it, but the internal part is where you need to start in order to grow, in order to make sure, to nurture, to make sure whatever you're getting into, whatever relationship, job, whatever it is, it needs to start internally. And that's the only way of healing. Because if you do not know yourself internally, it will be very difficult for you to really adhere to someone else on the outside when you get into a relationship.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, that person is going to come with a different temperament. So you need to, and as I said earlier, Lisa, is that what we do is we more picture the physical and not the internal. I mean, it's not like you're going to take a shovel or a fork to dig somebody to see. Some people will think, you know, the mindset is like, okay, what do you mean by internal? When you meet someone, just Deanne and I was just talking about, when you meet someone and you know that something is good, is when you start communicating with someone, their spirit is either it's going to be negative or it's going to be positive. And it depends on your thoughts, it depends on the things that you say, it depends on your body language. I think I remember I was saying, normally when you see people slouching, they look like they're miserable, they look like they have the whole world on their shoulders, it's very difficult for you to talk to that individual. So what you do now, most people get into relationships with people who have baggages. So they tend to carry those baggages on both sides of the shoulder, both male and female. And they don't actually let it go. They don't release it. Yeah? And releasing it means, in the sense of, if you're getting into a relationship, you ought to, from the beginning, you ought to let this individual know, listen, this was my life, this is what I've been, this is what I've been doing. And both parties supposed to come to that understanding. If you understand what I'm saying?
I more say that each individual should more seek out themselves before they go into a relationship, so that when you get into a relationship, you've already you've had that discussion and you know that you're on a state that just, you know, it's a clean state where, you know, you're starting off positive. You don't have to go into your baggage history because you've already moved forward. You've already dealt with that. So I think that's a problem what I see a lot of times with relationships. People go into it for the wrong reasons, so they're going into it because they're in need of some sort, rather than dealing with themselves and having a relationship to complement what they're already bringing to the table, and to give them some sort of companionship in life. So that's
and so true. And so true. I'm going to say this now. I don't want you ladies get vexed with me, but this is real talk. I deal with real issues, and I'm being real. If you want, you could put me out the studio. You can put me out the studio. But I'm going to say something here. Whether you agree or you disagree, but this is my thought. In most times when we're planning a marriage, when we're looking to get married, most of the times, and this is real, a lot of women actually plan their marriage. And when I say plan, they plan it in such a way they know. Let's say you go and you meet, like say, like you go raving, you might meet this guy somewhere. It doesn't have to be in a party. You just meet somebody. You're speaking for like 2-3 months. You get to know the individual. You know his status in life. You know what he's doing, his job and everything else. He's driving a nice car. You have a good job, big house. There are some women today that would look at that and take that as advantage to be in a relationship. Because at the end of the day, what they do, come and have sex with you, we have babies, and at the end of the day, you know, whenever that guy, whatever foolishness he starts to play the fool now is because what? Because he started getting under pressure, because you had an aim, you had like a mandate, because you want, in the long run, you want to accomplish something that you have. Nothing is wrong with that.
That's down to finances.
Right. But nothing is wrong with that, but you do not, that's why you find...
Nothing wrong with that?
No, but what? What you said?
You're saying that...
No, I have on my headphones there, so... You know.
Are you saying that to have the wrong intentions to be with somebody?
No, what I'm saying is, I think it's wrong when it, on the part of most women. You get into a relationship because in the long run you tell yourself, I will get house, car.
But that's on the grounds of finances, that's what I'm saying, so that's wrong.
Right, it is wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
Right, well, I have on my headphones.
Well, it doesn't even matter if it's, for me, it doesn't matter what you go into a relationship for. If it's for the wrong reason, that's where there's a risk. Yep. Doesn't matter if you've not got no babies and you already
but you find
want a baby and he can give you a baby, or you haven't got the finances but he's secure, or you don't want to work.
But let me ask you something, Lisa. Let me ask you something. You want to get in that relationship now, yeah? What would be your focus and your aim and your mission and your vision getting into that relationship with someone? What it is? What will satisfy you most?
They've got to be committed.
Huh?
Commitment.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right now that I find that's lacking in relationships.
Right. Come on. All right. Commitment actually is the key word in any relationship.
Yeah, but in this day and age, you will find that relationships look very different to what the meaning of a relationship really is. So you'll find a lot of people that don't even live together. So they're in a relationship but they don't live together. Mm-hmm. So there's no commitment there.
And would you say that is mental or physical?
I just think it's a wrong choice on behalf of the both of them, whoever or not. I'm not trying to speculate, because every individual needs to be, weighed up on their own merits.
So what you're saying there, when we start a relationship, do you not think that, and Deanne probably could come in, do you not think that most of the time, as you just said, most times you're in a relationship but you're not in a relationship because we live apart? I know of many people who living in marriages, husband is downstairs, the husband don't ever stay upstairs, so he's downstairs, easy access to run out the house, right? So he stays downstairs, he sleep on the couch, right? The wife or whoever, she sleeps upstairs. So there are many relationships today that is like that. So what would you say? Is that a mental thing on both parties' behalf, or is it just that is a selfish nature of not sitting, discussing what's the problem, why are we at this point, what can we do to address it? What is your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously communication is the key. For a relationship, you have to have trust and communication. Without them two things, it's not going to work. Because once you've got trust, once you've got communication, and then you can build a foundation. So,
But if you didn't build a foundation from the beginning, the relationship would not start.
But that's how it starts. Yeah. I'm sure that if someone's living like that, they've been living like that for a very long time. So in other words, it becomes the norm. But there would have been a pivotal point before they got to that bit. So there would have been some sort of trust breakdown, some sort of communication breakdown for you to say you're living in a house together and that's a relationship, because that's not a healthy relationship to live in.
Yeah.
So
Just talking about, I'm just giving it some thought, because if you are in a relationship in the first place and he is downstairs, you are upstairs, then I don't think that's not a relationship. You need to start off from the first step, getting to know each other. If he's off with his mate, you're off with your mate, if you only come together at night to sleep together, that's not a relationship. And I remember, I was saying last week to our listeners, a friend of mine on Facebook shared something. His parents had been together 60 years, and he shared something about the way he remembered them as a little child. They did everything together. If they were in the kitchen, Mummy would be doing one thing, Daddy would be doing something else. If Dad went out to do the garden, it's not Mum in the kitchen cooking, Dad doing the garden. They would do it together. Mum would be doing the dumplings, Dad would be peeling the yam. And when they finished and then go out in the garden, Daddy would be digging, Mum would be sweeping. They did, not to say that they didn't have their own lives, they had their own friends and they went out with their own friends, but they worked together on their relationship. And I think that is the key to a successful relationship, working together and getting to know the person.
And the danger about that is too, Lisa and Deanne, is that when you have things like this happening in a home, and you have children, mentally it affects them, because they are seeing, and sometimes, most of the time, they're taking on board. And
all of the time, Michael. Yeah. That's our children learn more from us, and they pick up more from us at a very young age than we think.
So it's like a cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, this gentleman went on, he's in a successful marriage. It's, he's been married for years, and it's because of how he saw his parents. Yeah. And he was saying he's taken that into his own relationship. That gave him the template of how relationships should be. Yeah. Whereas, if you are in a relationship, and it's your second, third relationship, you've got children from a different partner, your husband or your wife has got children from a different partner, and you're all on a different page, then what is that telling the children? When they have their own relationships, they will just continue the cycle, and it's usually the children that get damaged.
Yeah, it always. And I think as men, and I will speak for myself as a man, because we have such a role to play in our home as men, we have such a role to play that what's happening.
Yeah, what I think we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna take a quick break and then we'll come back. Yeah.
Yep.
So just use some music. Stay tuned. Get your cups of teas. Get your papers and pens, because we've got so much to tell you.
It's at the level.
Your love, can't breathe, can't sleep, can't think without you. Head over heels without you, not in it without you, baby. Oh, 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 oh. So boy, on your love, I'm so
this a time you got to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time you got to be firm, firm like the rock of Gibraltar. In a this a time you got to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time you got to be firm. Wake up every day, you blame politicians, yes. Shoulder to the wheels, let's work for our mission, yes. One hand wash the other, no time for division, no. Be prepared for the road is rocky, just be firm. You have to fit for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Judge help those who help themselves. Fit for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Put on your giddy and boot, let's roll. In a this a time, you have to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm, firm like the rock of Gibraltar. In a this a time, you got to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm. Procrastination leads to frustration, yeah. Frustration leads to failure. There's no failing in Judge plan. The system designed for us to fail. Exceed all expectation. Oh, in a this a time, you got to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm, firm like the rock of Gibraltar. In a this a time, you got to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm. Judge I never give us more than we can bear. So you better be wise and be humble. Fit for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Judge I help those who help themselves. Fit for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Put on your giddy and boots, let's roll. In a this a time, you have to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm, firm like the rock of Gibraltar. In a this a time, you have to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm. In a this a time, you got to be wise, brothers and sisters, know yourself. In a this a time, you got to be firm. Fit for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Larger than life. Fit for this, for this, for this, for this, for this. Larger than life.
Oh, my, 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 my. Well, well, well. She's still loving me. Though I've caused her so much pain. Yeah. I've done my share of wrong. My share of wrong. Time and time again. Ooh, she's still loving me. And I can't deny. Oh, no, 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 no. Since she's been in my life, everything's been going fine. And I'm proudly to the world, yeah. She's mine, one and only. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave my lady. Oh no, no. She's mine, one and only. I ain't going nowhere. I ain't gonna leave my lady. Oh, she's truly mine, and most of what she does makes me feel so
Or I played around. Still, yet she held it down. Yes, she did. She still loves me.
Okay, beautiful souls, we have got the conversation going on, and I have my three guests here. Okay, so we're going to ask the question, as you know, if you've been listening. In fact, actually, let me give you the text number if you want to text in, 07785 729 687, or you can call in on 0161 312 1548. And we are looking at the battle of the sexes, not just in relationship, but just across the board, work and all interactions. And I'm going to ask the question now, how does age, the younger people versus the older people, how do people, say, in their 20s and 30s look at relationship versus people's in their 40s upwards? What's the difference? And is there a difference?
We'll let Lisa tackle that. Lisa's in the younger age bracket, whereas Michael and I are the...
And myself, I'm one of the elders.
You do have grey hair. No, you don't have grey hair.
No, not yet.
I think the younger one's a bit more open. That's the clear distinctive that I can see from the older generation. I think that's just a cultural thing. It makes it the culture, because when I was growing up, children were supposed to be seen and not heard. So you didn't have a chance to have a say. You were involved in deep, wider, topical conversations that I might engage with my daughter now. So for me, there's definitely a culture shift, and that was my choice. So I think choice is coming into big play when it comes to...
Do you think that's better, Lisa? Do you think it's better to have more... do you think it's better now that parents interact more with their children than they did, than the be seen and not heard formula?
You have to be open, and you have to be a little bit on the ball. You can't be too reserved, thinking that didn't happen in my day, so I don't want to know if it's going on now, or it shouldn't go on like that. You have to be very open-minded and mindful of what's going on right now, and what does that look like for this kind of generation. So yeah, I do believe there's a difference. So
it's about the older folks needing to move with the times, grow and speak to their children and communicate with their children based on where the children are.
Yeah, and what they're kind of facing in society in regards to that.
Because it's funny you say that, because I know when I was growing up back in the 70s, 80s, given my there was a big divide between, say, the parents who came over who wanted the children to integrate and get into the system, and then for the children, they felt all this they felt like second-class citizen, when they went to school and when they went out to work. And then we had the SUS system. I don't know if anyone remembers that.
Yes.
And that really caused a breakdown between the young and the police, and even at home.
In fact, that resulted in the riots that we had in 1981.
Yes, yeah.
Because young people were just so fed up. Their parents were used to bowing down to just taking whatever jobs they could. Yeah. And the ones who were born here
were like, no,
enough. Yeah. We're not putting up with that. And then again, as you say, we have the SUS laws where young people are often stopped, and they would say no. Whereas the older ones, again, it'd be yes sir, no sir, yes sir, this is my car, and this is where I live. The younger ones would say, get lost. What are you stopping me for? Unless you got a good reason for stopping me, go away. So we had the riots right here in Moss Side. Because I remember
in Moss Side as well, because it was...
Yeah, we were sent home early. The police came and told us, what's going on. So the office was closed. And as I was walking to the bus stop, I saw all these young people gathering on the estate. And then I saw it all on the news later that it all kicked off.
So do you guys think that the lead up to this, I remember the riot, I think I was in London that time. I remember the riot because it was very bad, and I actually sat behind TV and I'm watching our black men and young men, Even I remember there was a young lady that they held whose father I think is a lawyer or he's a millionaire or something that was involved. She actually broke into some store to thief sneakers, and your dad is a millionaire.
Yeah.
So she was just trying to be part. It's a peer pressure, isn't it?
Yeah.
So she just wanted to be part. Yeah. So she just wanted to be part. And I think the system has broken down because again we have to go back. There's something I call the factory. I remember telling somebody we need to start in the factory and they thinking I talking about some building or something, but actually it's the home I'm speaking about because that's where everything starts. The factory is where everything starts. And at the end of the day, when we see people writing now, you're seeing sometimes on Facebook you're seeing young women fighting with each other.
Yes.
Black women.
Yes.
I think it all boils down to education. No, it's not. Because again, because of how parents were treated in the 80s, as you rightfully said, the parent didn't have enough mantle or enough manpower. The dad was more of the going out to work, mom going out to work because we had to provide for you guys. Now, right, as Lisa said, when you look at the young people today, the choices they make is to suit their lives because they have seen certain things happen with mommy and daddy. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to walk that road. And I rightfully agree with that because we as parents make mistakes. I'm a single dad. I was a single dad for 20-something years. Brought up 3 girls and a boy. And it was tough. But what I did is, I know bringing them up, I was able to install certain discipline into them, value system. Now I'm saying I had to build that foundation with them. So even though when they become adults, or like your age, Lisa, they would make mistakes. But if you don't make mistakes in life, that means you wouldn't learn.
Exactly.
You have to make mistakes in life.
Learn from our mistakes.
Sorry, we have a caller, so I'm just going to let the caller. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. Can you hear us?
Okay. Call back again.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. Sorry, who?
Oh, okay.
Hi. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
And who's calling? What's your name?
Oh, my name is Amazing Grace.
That name sounds familiar. Is it Amazing Grace?
Sorry, I'm enjoying listening to the reasoning. I'm enjoying listening to the reasoning, but I wish that you all would talk up a bit louder so I can hear every single word that's spoken.
Okay.
I apologise, guys. We're having a bit of technical problems this afternoon, and thank you for ringing to tell us that. We will try and get a bit. Can you hear me all right now as I'm speaking?
Yeah, I can just about. But
Right.
the question I wanted to ask, so if I can do so, is that does the panel feel strongly that it's for relationships to work, that they have to be working together as a team regardless of what is happening externally within that family unit?
I'll let Michael answer that one from the male perspective.
Good morning, Grace.
Sorry?
Good afternoon, Grace.
For example?
Oh, she's speaking still. Go ahead.
Grace?
Yes, hello?
Yeah, carry on, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so when we say, we may have different wants and needs, but it's important for us to realise that we need to find that common bond for us to work together. So
Grace, sorry, you've got a lot of, there's a lot of feedback behind your background noise. It's disturbing. We're finding it difficult to hear what you're saying.
Right, is this any better? It's just that I'm out and I was able to pick it up.
Right.
And I just thought,
Okay.
let me listen in. So,
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah.
Oh, is that better?
That's better. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'm asking is that working together as a unit, as in even though you have your separate goals or dreams, it's most important that the family unit work together, and what's their feelings on being closely knitted to each other and working through, continuously on the relationship. Hello?
Yeah, Grace, well, they're pointing at me because they want me to answer. I'm the only man in the studio, you know, nice pressure. Anyhow, I totally agree with you because at the end of the day, what we have to look at, we get married. We don't just get married because we want to wear the ring and bling and stuff, or buy the nice house or the fancy house and stuff. Marriage takes a lot. I've been there, I know what it is about. Communication, most important. I believe that, which I agree with you, when we're in a relationship like a marriage, we ought to work together as a team. We become one, as they say in the spiritual world, we become one. Now, becoming one doesn't mean that when we become one, that you have to adhere to what each individual says. But at the end of the day, we all have our duty to play in the marriage. Husband have his duty, wife have her duty. So what we need to do is always have communication, which is the key to every relationship, no matter what. That comes first. We sit down, we discuss what we want to do, what is our plans. Even if you don't have children as yet and you're planning to have children, you want to know what you need to do when children come, who will take up the mantle to do X, Y, Z. I have a problem today when people still calling women housewives. Women are not housewives anymore because they're more educated now. They're in the job market, they're in high-end jobs, whereas you find some men, the coin has flipped. And I'm speaking to some of the men now. It's not an issue when your other half or your significant other works for more money than you, or she's on a higher pay, a higher end job. Because at the beginning, that's what we're going back to what I just said, communication. It comes like health. You're in a marriage, one of the parties get sick, what are you going to do? Are you going to walk away from him or her? That means you're not committed to the marriage. And that's where everything starts. You ought to be committed, whether in health, whatever it is. So when it comes to the finances, when it comes to running home, I always believe that both parties should share. Seeing about children, a man shouldn't find it hard. I mean, for me, I'm speaking for me and just for other men in my position. I've been a single dad for years. I've changed Pampers. I've planned my daughter's hair to go to school. I did everything possible to safeguard them as a man and as a father. Today, I'm proud of them. They all have beautiful children. They all doing their own thing. They make mistakes. And even if they're going to make mistakes, they'll call me dad. As far as I am, they'll talk. So it all boils down to communication, even with your children. Even when you have children in the home now, you ought to also have something, Deanne and Lisa, that we don't see anymore, and Ilani, is that we don't have family gathering again. Like mother, father will sit around a table.
Yes,
it doesn't have to be. Even when you're eating food now, father quite in the next corner, mother quite in the next corner, children upstairs in the bedroom eating.
On their phone, dad is watching.
Or on the tablet, on the computer, phone. So we don't have that. We don't have that unity in the home anymore. In most homes now. So you don't have nobody sharing. A daughter will share with her mommy or daddy, or son will share. So what you have is a disconnection of the family unit. You understand, Amazing Grace?
Grace? Hello, Grace?
Is she smart?
Yeah, I think we might
if
have
you guys
lost
want
that,
to make an input there and say and add to
Yes, I do.
Oh, no, hold on, Grace is still with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, so what is your reply?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, what is your reply?
Did you hear what Michael just said, Grace?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
we can hear you, yeah.
We couldn't hear you before. Did you hear what Michael just said?
All right. I like the answer that he gave. I'm actually quite surprised. That what he said, because we find that men do not see what do they see their role? They see their role as they just go and get, bring in the food, and then that's it. So participating and working with the kids and working with the wife, for some men, it's a difficult thing. And I think
that's the word, Grace. I think it's very important that we use the word some, because not all men, as you can see from Michael, not all men are like that. There are a lot of men out there who are very good fathers, and like Michael said, and I take my hat off to him, he's a single father. He brought his children up on his own, which is rare, but it does happen. And it's very easy for us women to say men are this, men are that, men are the other. Some men, it's really important that we say that and don't tar everybody with the same brush.
So you understand what I was saying? You understand what I was saying? Amazing Grace. And to add what Deanne was saying, one of the things also that we have to be mindful of, rightfully, in today's world, especially system, men are targeted more than women now, because what has happened is that's why it's easy for a man to actually walk out of a relationship than a woman. If you understand what I'm saying, because the peer pressure, the pressure that he's under, knowing he has to pay the bills in the home, he has to leave every morning to go to work to make sure his family is comfortable. But then again, you have the pressure of his job, you have the pressure of his co-workers, you have the pressure of his mates, and then he's coming home now. A man's supposed to come home to a kingdom. He's not supposed to come home to individual in the home, or he's supposed to come home to an atmosphere that he can be comfortable. Once he walks through that door and his wife is home, whether she's working or not, she's supposed to be greeting him in such a way, not with that sort of thing on your face and like, you know, he left in the morning looking spink and spanky, nighty on, negligee, but when he comes home, he meets you in colors, you probably have a cigarette in your mouth and a bottle of beer or something. So you need to be, in order for the relationship and a man to think different when he sees his woman, is he wants to see somebody who is outstanding.
No, why are you painting that picture? There isn't. I mean, there's not many of us.
I deliberately said that because we have women in studio.
It's you're amazing, guys. If a man wants to come home to that kind of kingdom, then he has to play his part in creating that kingdom.
Battle of the sexes is taking place right now. Part one.
Deal with him inside there, ladies. Deal with him.
We will.
You can take that and get away with it.
I deliberately said that, Amazing Grace, but I'm not taking anything away. I understand exactly, but I said that because it happens. You have to understand that not only a woman have feelings, you know, and men have feelings also. So a man wants to know that he can be comfortable in his home at all times. The same way how a woman wants to be comfortable, the same way a man wants to be comfortable. Men are emotional just like women. Men try not to show the emotions because they are introverts. Most of them are introverts.
They've been taught to be introverts.
Exactly.
Don't cry.
So when it comes to communication, there's a big problem. You would quicker find women talking.
I don't know about that, Michael. There are quite a few men who you can't stop them from talking.
Well, I am one because I'm very extrovert now. I talk my mind. But you know, we having fun.
Sorry, I'm going to continue listening, but I've used my sister's phone and I don't want to use
Thank you, Amazing Grace, for calling.
She's going to talk.
Thank you.
Pleasure being on Amani and sharing with you.
Thank you.
The show.
Really enjoyed your input.
Don't let the men come on into our show, all right?
Yes.
And feel that they can tie us women to the kitchen.
That is why
we're going to deal with him.
This is not fair. You see, this is not fair. Why are you
all right, Amazing Grace, thank you so much for your input.
Thank you, Amazing. Why do you guys turn up there? Why did you put Battle of the Sexes?
But we didn't explain at the beginning that it's not a proper battle. We just want to hear the male perspective. And it's always good to hear the other side. But I love some of the things that you said before, Michael, about communication. Every good relationship, there has to be communication, there has to be commitment, and both parties have to be on the same page. You have to be working together. Just like I said before about my friend's mom and dad doing everything together. You know, it's no point the king, you know, coming home and expecting a kingdom when he hasn't done anything to create that kingdom in the first place. He has to play his part. You know, if he comes home and the woman is still in her rollers, maybe she's been washing and cooking and cleaning all day.
You think?
It's for him to say, okay, baby, you're going to take out your rollers while I finish cooking the dinner. You know, so it's a two-way thing.
I agree with that.
One thing that I remember that we did as children, and I made sure I did the same thing with my two daughters. I made sure they came home from school and we sat at the dining table and ate together. Brilliant. That way I could ask them, what kind of day did you have? They were able to share things with me. If there was a problem, I could pick up on it straight away and I knew I had to do something. Whereas now, as Michael said, you know, daddy's in the living room eating from a tray. Mommy might be somewhere else on the phone. You know, children upstairs in the bedroom. And the family, they don't sit together anymore.
Split.
Just the same way on a Sunday, you'd get extended family coming together. Everybody would bring a dish And that was my childhood, and this is what I write about in my short comedy stories.
But what do you think? What do you think has changed? What do you think has changed that? What do you think has
I
changed?
don't know, it's just society. This, technology.
Technology has changed.
Most of the young people are on the mobile phones. There's stuff going on. Everybody's doing their own thing, and it's like the family unit is just.
I agree that the technology.
Right, we're gonna let Lisa come in now.
Can I say one thing? Can I just say one thing about the woman being in curlers? That's what date night is for. During the week, everyone muck in together, and on date night, everyone looks. Ta-da!
Yeah, right. You know what? Next time I walk through a door, coming in that, I will wear a boxer shorts, probably a slippers.
That's all right.
Would you accept me that?
Yeah, of course.
You would?
Yeah.
Okay, next time.
So it's about transformation on date nights, isn't it? Yeah.
Boxing short. Right?
So Lisa, because
Lisa, yes.
I agree about the commitment. I agree about communication. Obviously, trust is needed.
Trust,
But I do believe that we're living in different times. So obviously, 40 years ago, there probably wouldn't have been so much choices to your mod homes and stuff, which will take away the time of the family unit. The dynamics change. Obviously, with the males not being in the house, obviously some are going to percentages, but you've got most out working, while mum might be working or mum might be part-time working, look after children. So there will have an impact there on how the family interacts and engages at different times. And then you've got the increase of the shift working. So a lot of the males tend to do a lot of shift works. So you'll find them distant from the family home at the main times, i.e. meal times, bedtimes, morning times, because of the shift work. So it's sometimes a matter of dynamics change within the home, but also within society. So that's down to choices though as well.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm a big believer of choices because I think where there's a will, there's a way. So if you want to make it work, you can make it work.
True.
That's the choice.
True.
So if it means you have to give up a career job for a while just so that you can be around for your children, then that's the choice. If it means you have to maybe not work for a bit, one work, if you've got the two parents, just to make it work. So that's where I'm about choices. And then I'm always about each relationship or each individual situation on their own merit, because it's hard just to do a roundup of the whole average thing, because everybody's got their own different things that might impact or change it for different reasons. I do agree with you though, Mike, when you say about sometimes I think in relationships people get too complacent, and that's a big, I'm not agreeing with it, but I do believe it's a big contributor to why the woman or the man might go and commit adultery or stray the nest, because I think some people get too complacent about any relationship.
So true. Take things for granted.
And I do believe in the 1 day a week date night. I believe in that getting away, family time, alone time for yourselves as individuals plus couple time. I do believe in keeping, the romance and spicing it up. You have to be
not just teasing you guys, so
but it's a big thing, isn't it? Because
but, I mean, we're talking, but honestly, it happens, and it happens in both parties. They are at fault, and I totally agree with you. With you agree with me, I agree with you also, because you see, we have to be, we must not take each other for granted, and I think that's one of the, quite correct. A lot of marriages today, I think husbands take their wives for granted, wives take husbands for granted, and what you find happening, the slightest thing each other may say in a conversation tend to stir up some fire, some kind of right. I want to say something.
Can I just quickly read out a text just to support what you're saying? It's the person saying it's good that a man is on the show with three women to one, and she agrees that it works both ways. The woman in curlers and the man has to also take care of himself and smarten up a little bit.
You see, thank you very much.
You can get complacent, and I'm you're right. Sometimes women, you put on the makeup and you make sure that you're the best you can be when you're courting, and you're right. Once you get settled into the relationship, sometimes, I have to admit, sometimes some women do let themselves go.
Thank you.
They don't make enough of an effort, and Michael, you're right. That's probably why, men will probably stray and look elsewhere. But again, it's about your maturity. So there's fault on both sides. And I don't like, as I say, to point finger at one.
Are you going to point finger at me?
No, I'm not. No, I'm pointing finger at me. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. You know, if you're in a relationship and it's not working right, then go and get some counselling. You know, or look and say, well, what's changed? When was the last time I went out with my husband?
Yep.
And as I said, you know, the two of you, plan a naughty weekend and go away together. Get somebody to look after the kids.
Yeah, don't
and
go.
Bring the romance back into
you pack your suitcase with just 2 pieces of clothes, isn't it?
I don't know about that. But yeah, it's about bringing the romance back into your
and it doesn't, and age doesn't play a part here. It doesn't matter if you're 80, 90. You may probably reach a position where you can't. So at the end of the day, it all boils down to communication, loving that person for who they are, and you just run with it. I was gonna say something. I wanted to mention something because I'll pick up something from Lisa when she talked about, you know, I didn't properly introduce myself, but I have been I've been a single dad for over 20-something years, and I had problems in my first. Well, it wasn't problems. I was just left with 4 children, and I mean, at the age of 25, I had 4 children already, and nobody never told me about rearing children, being a father, being a parent. For some reason, I found it easy adapting to that role. I didn't go to somebody to say, so what must I do with my daughter? Should I do this or do this? Or it just came natural. And I think because of the fact that I'm going back now to my communication and my relationship I had with my father. I had a good relationship with my father, which was discipline, tolerance. Even though I used to get my little licks and things sometimes, but you know, otherwise, and not knowing he was actually disciplining me. No, you can't hit a child down because he met police going for you. But at the end of the day, I was disciplined by my dad, and I was and he taught me. He never visualized that. He probably knew that one day I'll probably be a dad also. Or whatever. He didn't live to see his own grandchildren. That's all right. But you know what? I did my part as a single dad, because when I was bringing up my 2 daughters and my son was last, I had to plait the hair to send them to school, and all I used to do is plait it in 2 bows. And I remember my daughter used to be saying, "But daddy, is every day, so Monday to Friday, I plait we here 2 bows." And then by force, I had to go buy bubbles and all kind of thing and start changing their hairstyle. So what I was building as a dad with my daughters was a father-daughter relationship.
Yes. Yeah.
And it has come a long way till this day, and they are adults. Even with my son, he was a baby. Even with my son, same thing. But I remember my biggest daughter, I'm going to say this on air, you know, it will not offend nobody. I remember, because this is real life, I remember my big daughter when she was going primary school. She had reached the age of seeing her venture. And then she came home and she stood up at the gate and she said, "Daddy, I have something to tell you now." I said, "Who you fight with in school today?" Because I know she don't fight. "Nobody, Daddy. Miss had to do XYZ. She had to give me this." And I said, "What are you talking about?" That I don't know that what she started mentioning. No, she's coming to her father
to tell me that
she's menstruating. Now, how powerful is that?
Yes.
When she could have gone to another woman, right?
And that just show the relationship he had with you to be able to do that.
And that same daughter, when she became an adult and she left home and she went on her own to experience life. You know, when she got pregnant, she found me, because those days I was working on a television station. She actually came to the station, and I'll tell you something. That's to tell you how spiritual and closeness I had with my first daughter. She came to look for me because she said, "Daddy, I have something to tell you." And when we sat, I had to tell the security, "Listen, I'm going in the waiting room. Let nobody come and disturb me, please. My daughter needs it." You know, while sitting there, my spirit said, "My daughter is pregnant." She didn't even have to tell me that.
So you knew already.
Yes, it's because it's a connection with you. It's a spiritual connection. So when she opened her mouth and she said, "Daddy, you're going to be a grandfather," I cried, I hugged her, and then I said to her, I said, "I knew." Because from the time you said, "Daddy, I wanted to tell you something," I knew. So for men today, that's the type of relationship we need to build with our children, whether it's son or daughter.
That is so beautiful.
Because you see, what happens is you have to remember quickly that your daughter always, when she gets into a relationship with anybody, I think Deanne, we were talking about that, when she always look for a man who has similarity to her dad, which probably the value system. He wouldn't be as perfect as her dad because her dad wasn't perfect. I wasn't perfect. No man is perfect. So she would look for something in her dad that is, when she gets into a relationship with a man, hey, she would see something, hey, you're just like my father. You know, that's what young women want. Yeah, they don't want to just jump in a relationship. You started because you know dad never used to beat you, dad never used to beat mommy. But why am I getting into a relationship with a man who's going to hit me? Same thing with sons. A son always pattern his mother the same way because he would look at a young lady and he would see similarities to his mother, and he would have a good relationship with her because he knows he never see mommy get hit, he never see daddy raise hand, so he's not going to do that. But when we have children in homes that has domestic violence, that's when the problems start, because now it's a cycle there. You know that you ad lib because I'm thirsty, no water to drink, so I'm letting Deanne go.
No, Michael, you've made some amazing points there, and again, I say I take my hat off to you. What you said about your dad, you know, your dad brought you up in a certain discipline way, and as you say, yes, our parents used to, you know, physically discipline us, and you're not allowed to do that anymore, and for good reason, and you don't have to. You can still set boundaries, you can still discipline your children without using violence. But you learned something from your father, which you were able to then use, you know, to rear your children, and your children have continued that. So I think, as you say, we don't realize how very important it is for, you know, the relationship that we have, the effect it has on our children. And this is why so many children are being brought into the care system, because the parents have nothing to teach them. And it's because those parents haven't taught them anything.
Exactly.
And this is where relationships seem to be falling apart. It's not just something simple and straightforward. It's complicated, as they say. There are lots of different issues that we have to take in consideration. Right, okay, so I'm just going to hand the mic up to Lisa because unfortunately she's got to leave us, so hopefully she can just have her say and then
the young on in the studio.
I think I just round upon that, and I'm a great believer of positive relationship building, and that takes obviously two people to be on, like Deanne said, the same kind of wavelength and have the same common goals and want to know that they can work together to achieve that in a partnership kind of approach. For the children, I think the children really need that positive role modelling, and so that they can continue to build positive relationships with their future partners. And the only way that's going to happen, I think, in a positive light is that they actually see some positive relationships around them, whether it be from the home. If it can't be from the home, then obviously from the external engagements, whether that be family, extended family, or colleagues, or within their social kind of realm. Unfortunately these days you see it less and less. You're getting a lot of the generations that don't want to even cohabit, don't want to commit, and want to have a kind of free, open relationship, which is a bit dangerous because they're not showing any commitment characteristics, which then means that there's also issues around love for themselves and even then also to love others. But that's another show. So yeah, I do believe in, I can say, positive relationship building. I'm a big fan of positive role modeling in order to help that to thrive and grow. But I'm going to have to say bye to
Lisa, leave your details before you go.
And I will leave you, yes, my details. I'm Lisa Samuel, the life coach you need to have in your life. I do motivation, empowerment and life skills coaching, one-to-one and group workshops and programs for individuals wanting to achieve their full potential in life. I'm also developing support for individuals who want to go into entrepreneurship and have that to help you to get the basics of developing your business and putting you in the right direction in order to grow your business. So if you're interested in anything I've mentioned here, please contact me. My number is 070-721270, or you can email me at lsamuel@me1.org.uk, or you can contact me via the website, which is me1.org.uk. Take care.
Before you run off, just answer me in probably a few words, and then you can get out of our studio. We need to do some work, so we wouldn't have to see you.
Likewise.
Just one love. Lisa, I need to ask you this before you go. As a young woman, what impact, and you can answer it short, and positive and to the point. What impact has your dad played in your life?
I think he wasn't in my home growing up, so I would more say what I've observed. And I just think I observed an all-rounder male in a true form. He was quite open. So I was blessed to really know what men can be like. For the positives and the negatives, really. So that was helpful.
Good. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day, Lisa.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Wait.
Bye, Lisa.
will talk.
Good afternoon.
We're going to take a quick break now, so thank you, Lisa. We're going to take a break.
Sing my song. Check me out. Life is so amazing. Funny how time things about change. And just to think that you swore you loved me, baby. Now you're giving that thing to another man. I don't understand it, girl. Must have feel me up to let me down. Baby. Oh, you hurt me, girl. Baby, feel like I'm gonna put you down. Even though that you're not around, please let me explain myself. Even in the daytime, some things should never change. But they always do. Now even going on with the lady dances, but I think true love still remains the same. Looking back on my yesterday, true love didn't go that way. I can remember well now. Once you said you love somebody, that vow you couldn't dare to break. I don't understand what you've done, honey. You break my heart. You break my heart. I thought you were the last one to let you down. You make me start. Feel me up, you feel me up, you feel me up to let you down. Baby. You break my heart. You make me start. I feel like I wanna get down.
See, there was no big thing to me, no way. That's a whole lot of running around, you know. I mean, a whole lot of some things around.
I could think of a few things that I wouldn't mind being between. She did too. Lord, after a 3-minute spiel, it's like Jack and Jill going over the hill. Now, doing all we've been together. Hey, girl, you let me down. What made you so bad? No.
Show.
Honey, I spoiled you. I spoiled so. I know you've been spoiled. Ooh, and it's your warm and precious love. Just keeps me giving you more. I give you everything. Keep you having a ball, girl. Me coats and diamond rings. Fancy sports car. But I want to give you more than material things. It's love, sweet love. 'Cause I know that's what you need. Oh, my baby, baby, baby. I know you've been spoiled.
I don't mind taking my last time and investing in your love.
Ooh, baby, I spoiled today.
I know you've been spoiled.
Oh, honey, it's your warm and precious love. Just keeps me giving you more. Loving you's not hard to do. Girl, you make it easy. You're the one who makes my fun. You know you please me. And I need to keep you satisfied. I'm good to you. We know the reason why. Oh, my darling, darling, darling.
I know you've been spoiled.
Oh, my baby, I spoiled you.
Yeah, a little bit spoiled.
Didn't believe in miracles until you came along. Champagne and fancy things can never match your love. But I want to give you more than material things. And love, sweet love. 'Cause I know that's what you need. You're my woman and I love you. Oh, you're my woman and I really do. Baby, I love you. That's why I spoiled you so. My woman, I'm gonna buy you a diamond ring.
I was gonna buy you a diamond
Oh,
ring.
honey, and I'm gonna give you everything.
I was gonna give you a
Say, I'm gonna buy you a brand new car.
I was gonna buy you a brand new
Honey, and I'm gonna really ride you far away.
I was gonna take you far.
Listen, I'm gonna buy you a house up on a
I
hill.
was gonna buy you a house on a hill.
Yes, I will. Baby, now yes, I will. Sugar, I love you.
We've got the best music.
Done way too much wrong. Now you're gone, and it's surely my own fault.
The Amani Speak Show.
I was such a fool. Yes, I did. There was no reason why. There just was no reason to make my baby cry. And they got to cry some. They got to cry some. I turned to shed some tears. I turned to cry. I turned to shed some tears. I turned to cry. I turned to shed some tears. I turned to cry. I turned to shed some tears. I turned to cry. Once it was my turn to be the kind of man I should. The wrong things influenced my better judgment then. Wow. tears. I turn to cry. I turn to shed some tears. I turn to cry. Love affair. I know I hurt you, baby. I was so unfair. Baby, yeah. There was no reason why. Now I'm sorry. I was such a fool. I'm sorry now. Yes, I am. What a fool I was. And I turn to shed some tears. I turn to cry. I turn to shed some tears. I turn to cry. I turn to shed some tears. I turn to cry. I turn to shed some tears. I turn to cry.
Beautiful souls, we are still here with the conversation, Battle of the Sexes, just in case you tuned in. You can join in, you can text in on 077 857 29687, or you can call in on 0161 312 1548. And I have Deanne is still here, and Mike is still here with us. And Mike wants to, Mike has got a few words. Come on, Mike.
Oh yeah, it's good to be back. I just want to a little quote. I like my quotes. I normally like to write stuff, and when things come to my mind, I jot it down. But and I like to be unusual. I don't tend to be too
run of the mill.
Yeah. So I just want to say, seek. This is for the men most of all. Seek you first the kingdom of your mind, and every positive thought will be manifested before you. Let me say that again. Seek ye first the kingdom of your mind, and every positive thought will be manifested before you. I said that to say this. It all starts with your mind. As a man, seek yourself, know thyself. And from a good friend of mine, I bought his book actually called Foster. If you are listening, good morning. I'm actually reading a book named Self-Made. And what he's talking about, being self-made, means working on your own self. You have to start with yourself. You can't start with your wife, your girlfriend, your mother, your daddy. You have to start with you first. And once that happens, you're good to go. And quickly, Imani, as the cover of Carl Foster's book said, self-made, and this is what I have on my Facebook page as my picture, main picture.
Your cover.
Finding the goodness and greatness within yourself. So it ties into what I just said. So men, this is for you. Women, you also, because it helps in the long run. Once you know yourself, it will be easy for you to have a proper communication, a proper relationship with your spouse, your girlfriend, or whoever, even your ex-girlfriend if you choose to. Right, so I'll hand you over to Deanne. I think she's going to read some love
Deanne has
notes
got a lovely poem for us.
She's going to read some love notes, yeah? Okay.
Hello again, listeners. And I don't know if you're all aware that this lovely book that Michael has brought called Self-Made, it's actually written by Carl Foster, who is the sister-in-law of his brother.
Is it?
Yes, he's my little brother.
Is he your brother?
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
He's my brother.
He is an amazing man because he was in Manchester, was it last year? He came to
2015, I think.
That book is powerful.
Yes, it is. Very powerful.
Yeah.
Highly recommended book, Self-Made by Carl Foster.
Yeah.
But I'm going to share one of my poems because, as you know, I write, and I love to write poetry. I use my poems to sort of sum up various aspects of life and relationships.
But quickly, since you write love letters to your intendeds, or you just write poems? You had to write love letter too, that's interesting.
No,
you can't just write poems.
No, poems. My poems are the substitute for love letters.
No, that's not good enough. You need to, because in a love letter, you actually say everything that you want to say to him.
I'll bear that in mind. Thank you for the advice.
Thank you.
But this poem actually is a little peek into another side of relationship. Perhaps not the side that's not quite so nice. It's called Clandestine. With husband away, children tucked up in bed, he told her to forget that he too was wed. They met and had perfunctory dinner. She nibbled salad self-consciously, wishing she was thinner. In his hotel room, she melted in strong masculine arms, as desire convinced her to do no harm. He whispered, "Stay sweet till next time we meet, but never forget, we must be discreet. You know I have never told you any lies. My family commitments mean no ties." His acquiescent smile was betrayed, or rather her acquiescent smile was betrayed by the flicker in her eyes as they engaged in staged public platonic love.
Watch that smile on your face. Watch that smile on your face.
Gentlemen been involved in something like that.
That actually is part of a love letter. Right?
Mike, what does that poem mean to you as a man?
I think it has merit to the sense of it actually speaks. I mean, when someone, let's say, we go back to communication, you have someone saying something like this to you, like words, because, words, it depends on the words that you speak to someone, it imparts into your spirit. Mm-hmm. So if you speak negative words, obviously you will get that negative, I love the poem because of the fact that it speaks truth. Sometimes, and sometimes I think, or most times, when someone writes a poem, it's actually their feelings about life. Am I wrong or right?
You are right, but I really need to stress that my poems are not always about me.
Right. Well, I was getting to that.
Sometimes it's just observation.
Yeah, so I was getting to that.
Deanne is a bit more mysterious than that.
She's mysterious.
It wasn't me.
Yeah, she wouldn't.
But I think it identifies a lot of stuff. Here, because when you stuff like this, when you read in poems like this, as you say, you write a lot. Could you imagine you're sitting on the bed, your husband is lying there, you take the remote from him, no TV, I need to read something to you, I need to let's indulge in some word communication, and you pick up a book like this and you start to read the love notes to him. How do you think he would feel? Do you think he would react positive or negative?
Yes, and I think this is something that maybe more couples should do.
Exactly.
Share things that
I must commend you for
read
that.
to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just modern poetry, but some of the old, traditional poetry, where you read and discuss things. It's all part of building and cementing the relationship.
And it's good. And I think as a form of communication also.
Yes,
it's a big part of communication, and I think that's what we have to look at in relationships. And could I just add something here again, dear?
Yes, of course.
I just want to see that we reading, like if we're in school or primary school or junior sec or something,
Go ahead,
there is something I need to say here, and this is actually directed to you men, because actually we're more focusing on a lot of men here today. Men, I'm asking you this question, we're talking about relationship. Why do you enter a relationship? Is it for companionship, sex, attention, having a family, or is it also about leaving your life legacy? If there are any honest, real, thinking men outside there today listening to my voice, listening to Deanne, listening to our presenter, call in, text us, tell us, let us know some way, because let me read it again, because this is a big question. Men, when I'm dealing with relationships, why do you enter into a relationship? Is it for companionship, sex, attention, or having a family? Or is it about leaving your life legacy? So I'm leaving that with you. Feel free. You call in, you text us. I don't know, Imani, if you want to give the numbers or you text numbers or whatever.
077-857-29687, or you can call 0161 312 1548, or you can use our chat room on our website, www.radiodiamond.co.uk, or you can go to our Facebook page and leave a message. Thank you.
All right.
So
let me say this, men, we're looking at the men, we're looking at men and relationships. We're actually not only just men in relationships, but we're looking at men and whole. Your responsibility, what do you think is your real role in your home? What would you like to see happen, especially, let's talk about the health part also, because most men, for some reason, we are afraid to talk about our health. I have changed my whole mindset about my health. I've taken because I'm so young now, I am like, probably I think, how old are you?
He's very young, he looks about 21.
Yeah, so I think I'm about 21 and a half.
21 with the wisdom of a 200-year-old.
Oh, that's all right, I have gray. If you look good, you'll see some gray hair on my beard. But, the question is, men, look at it. Sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves and talk. When it comes to our health, we need to talk about our health, because our health also interferes with our relationship at present. Because if you don't talk about your health, especially with your spouse or your family, what you're going to do is that you're going to leave unwanted stuff happening. When something happens, your wife or your spouse or your children are going to say, but daddy, why you didn't tell us you were sick? Or your wife is going to say, but honey, we have been together for so long, why couldn't you have said X, Y, Z? Why didn't you tell me this is what's happening? You have to remember that you have a helpmate, which is your wife or your girlfriend or whoever. She's not there to kill you. She's there to support you. And vice versa, you are there to support her. So when it comes to your health, man, you need to talk about your health. Yeah? Don't just keep it down and wait until you end up in the hospital and then you say, oh God, darling, I could have tell you. And then she's going to say, but honey, it's 15, 20 years we're together. This is what was going on. Why didn't you say something? So men, start talking about your health. Become extroverts and stop being introverts, yeah?
Deanne, what's your thoughts on that?
That's a very good point, Michael, because, our emotional health, our physical health, it's all, all impacts, one impacts on the other. And if you're not physically well, then, you might not make the right judgments or, make the right decisions about certain things. So, it's all interlinked. And your emotional health, if you're having problems in your relationships, in whatever, then your emotional health will impact on your physical and vice versa, just like Michael said. And if you're in a relationship and you're not well mentally or emotionally because you're carrying baggage from a previous relationship, or because you're just not getting what you need from the relationship that you're in, then that will impact on your physical health. So, it is good, as I say, counselling. Maybe I'm biased because I'm a counsellor, but I can't stress, the importance of not even official counselling, but just talking, finding somebody. And this was what we had traditionally, the traditional extended family, something that was priceless. You always had grandma or auntie or whoever that you could go and talk to if something was happening and deal with your problems. And that's what people don't talk anymore. They're shut down, they're on the phone, they're on the computer, they're whatever, and they don't actually talk to each other and discuss problems.
But Deanne, let me bantering and we speaking here. Now that I feel comfortable that it's just two women in studio, Lisa, because she's been of a younger version, we will probably could get now into the more mature, adult kind of conversation. Now let me ask this question to you. I'm putting you on the spot here. Probably I could put our lovely presenter or host on the spot also. She could answer. You're in a relationship and for 10, 12, 15 years, somewhere along the line it breaks down. You talk about getting counseling and stuff. In most cases, you find men tend not to go to get counseling when you have problems in your marriage. You quicker find the woman wants the relationship to go.
True. You find women will go.
Yeah,
the men
I'm speaking from experience because I was in that position already. Because of the fact that you believe that, why am I going to talk to another man or another woman when I can talk to my wife? But sometimes it's always good to really speak to, I call it third party. I really don't believe in third party all the time, but I call it third party because you can actually fix your differences. If it cannot be rectified, then you get a third party.
Yeah.
Now, you guys could answer this question. As women, now you're in a relationship, it doesn't you go through all the process of counseling, chalala, whatever. Eventually, as a woman, you know what, you can't, you had enough. Would you, and you said you want to give up, you tend to want to now probably become separated from this individual because you actually see the relationship is not going anywhere? I mean, after 12 years is plenty. Even a year in a relationship is plenty, especially nowadays, because things happen so fast nowadays, right?
Very fast.
Yeah. So a year come like 50 years now in a relationship.
For sure.
Yeah. I want you guys to honestly answer me, and if you guys don't honestly answer me, I'm going to take out my stuff and I'm going to walk because my coach is waiting on me. I'm going to take my coach and go back to London.
honest, how are you demanding?
Yeah.
Oh yes, we must. We do appreciate that he's come all the way from London to do the show. So yeah. So I think Deanne, I think you should go first.
So would you say? Would you throw your hands up in the air? You know the relationship is not going anywhere. There's no future. Would you walk away or would you stay and fight another day?
It depends, and I just need to say to listeners, unfortunately I'm going to have to leave before the show is finished. I've only got 5 minutes and I have to go. But that's a very good question, because these days people tend to throw in the towel too quickly.
No, they don't throw towels anymore. They throw sheets, pillowcase. No, sheet and pillowcase.
They tend to give up and walk away too easily. Yeah. Whereas in the past, perhaps people stayed in relationships too long. But I personally, if I was in a relationship that wasn't working, if it worked originally and we had something, we loved each other and it's fallen by the wayside, I'd be looking at, well, what's going on? What can I do to repair this? No, I wouldn't be looking to leave, because for me, a relationship is for life. And that's the way I look at it. You have to try and repair the relationship. If you do everything that you can to repair the relationship, because people change, and you just we've got nothing in common anymore. I don't love him, he obviously doesn't love me. No, we need to go our separate ways. Then you try and part amicably. But especially if you've got children, you have to sit down and say, look, okay, if this is not working, but our kids can't suffer. So whatever, I'm not going to run off and poison the kids' minds against you and make sure you don't know. We will have equal responsibility for them. I'll have them during the week, you have them at weekends, and we part amicably.
All right. Let me quickly add this to you quick, and you could answer any man. You could answer to me. Now you're talking about children. Now, tell me, is it right? Is it wrong for a woman to actually prevent? Let's say you have a split, and you become bitter, or as you guys say, a woman scorn. Men just get scorned too. You know? I don't know. Look at this word about woman scorn and that kind of thing. You know, woman scorn. What a woman could get scorned? I don't understand that. She's mentally probably wasn't ready. That's why she's probably scorned. So what would you say? What would you guys say? Or in respect to a woman, some women neglecting the aspect of a father continue playing a role in his children's life.
That is wrong. That is wrong. It doesn't take one person to make a child, it takes two. The only time that I would agree that the other party shouldn't see the children is if they're posing a danger to that child. And it might not be physical danger, because some people, they poison the child's mind against the other party. And if I'm letting you see your child every weekend, and you're sharing things with the child that you shouldn't be telling them, and tell, oh, your mother's this, your mother's that, then no, you're not going to see that child. So as long as you are doing the best thing for that child, you know, you argue with me, don't argue with my child, then I'm quite happy. I think both parties should have equal access to the child, because as I say, it didn't take one person to make that child, it took two. And the father's role is just as important as the mother's role, and vice versa.
Because he actually is the, not that the mother is not a role model, but actually the father figure in a home, in every home, supposed to be. Because again, before Imani answer this question, am
I going to answer? Oh, right.
I mean, you need to answer, but what I'm saying is a father figure is actually important, and because of these are some of the problems that we have. Oh, thank you. Well, that's a check for how much? £5,000. So
I'm just giving him one of my books, listeners, and he's being his usual hilarious stuff.
The thing about it is, when we do have that role model, when we do have that role model in the home, whether it's mother or father, what you tend to find happening is that the children most times find the role model, the wrong role model on the outside. So it give them misdirection, because they will say, okay, mommy, daddy, give you this is what's happening, and that's where they start going astray. So to answer the question, I'm here waiting on you, Madam Presenter.
Okay, so repeat the question again so I can make sure I get it absolutely right.
I am 55 years of age. It's very hard to recollect what I've said, but I'm going to say it like this. How would you address the fact that I'm going to fast forward it then so you can answer this one. How do you address the fact that, or what do you think about the fact that some women today keep their children or keep their fathers away from seeing them or being supportive to them, but will prefer, let me add, because I didn't ask Deanne, or will prefer another man be a father to her children than the father be a father to his own children? What do you think about that?
Oh, I would say that can't be right. Definitely, I do agree that mothers and fathers are very necessary. I do feel that women need men and men need women, and families need parents. Yeah, so I do feel that the father should be involved in his child's upbringing, and particularly young boys. Do we think, I'm asking another question now, aren't I? I'm thinking about this could actually affect the young men, because I do think that young boys do need their father around, and they do need that role model. They do need to feel, they need someone to guide them through this very difficult stage of their life, especially when they're teenagers. So yes, Mike the man, I do agree. We got a lot of noise here. I do agree that we should have the man around. Yeah.
Okay. I beg your pardon, listeners. I'm just going to have to say goodbye. I think Sister Man is going to play some music and have a musical break. But I will be back in the next few weeks, as a famous man said. I'll be back. But just to remind you who I am Deanne Herron, and I write short humorous stories, pardon the money stories, and then I've also got a volume of poetry. And you can find me on my website, which is www.pardonthemoneystories.co.uk, or if you're on Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. Just search Deanne, Deanne, Here on Let's Pardon Money Stories by Deanne. Okay. So it was lovely being here as usual. A pleasure sharing the show with our brother Michael, with Lisa and Imani, and hopefully I will be back in a few weeks' time, but sorry, I was to rush off to another appointment. So
definitely enjoyed your input. Thank you so much, Lisa. We're going to take a quick break.
Please, next time don't say goodbye. When we say goodbye, I mean,
yeah, not au revoir, au revoir.
Just au revoir, or I'll be back.
Au revoir, or as a proper Jamaican,
Missoon come.
and come with C-O-M-E.
No, C-O-M-E. Thank you, Michael.
We're going to take this break. I think we need to.
Tomorrow, don't be upset in the party, baby. Whenever you're ready, hold my hands when you're ready. Let me rock me, baby. Rock, bounce with me, baby. Bounce with me, baby. Dance with me, girl. Dance with me, girl. Dance with me, yeah. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, yeah. I tell you, whenever you're ready, hold my hands when you're ready. Let me rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, baby. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, yes. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, yeah. Dance with me, rock with me, baby. Bounce with me too. Rock with me, girl. Rock with me, yes. Just rock with me.
First time I saw you around was my first day in your town. From across the street, you were walking by. Not a word was spoken, but you know that I had been captured by your smile. Let me holler for a while. Then you walked right in, turned my life around. Treat me bad, oh baby, but you know I'm still your clown. So baby, you get me dangling on a string, messing up my foolish heart. Make it hard as you can. Oh baby, I'm gonna love you. Bring me up, then bring me down, just to keep my heart around. Make it hard as you can. Oh baby, I'll just stick around. I heard every word you said, had it running on my head. Should I laugh or cry? Should I lose control? Girl, all my life you were my very soul, but you gave me little choice. Every time I hear your voice on the radio, on the telephone, every place I go, every face I see is you. Oh baby, you get me dangling on the string, messing up my foolish heart. Make it hard as you can. Oh baby, I'm gonna love you. Build me up, then you bring me down, just to keep my heart around. Make it hard as you can. Oh baby, I'll just stick around. Yeah. You really got me on a string. No.
Hello. We are still in the building, and there's me, Imani Speaks, and there's Mike the Man, who's still here with me. Mike the Man, as you know, he's contributed so much. What else do you feel? I mean, I think this is such a big question, isn't it? The battle of the sexes. But what do you think the future holds? Because obviously things are changing. We established that. Yeah, we established that the things are changing. So what would you say the future? What do you think, put on your magical hat, and what do you think, what do you feel the future holds for men and women? How's it going to look, say, in the next 10, 15 years? I know it's going to be your perspective, but I think it's worth hearing.
That's a very big... That question is bigger than... Imagine I'm in Manchester and I'm a Liverpool fan, so that is actually bigger than Liverpool right now. Listen, what we have to start, in order to first catapult to the future for good relationships, we must start at the base, we must start at the foundation. We have to start in the factory, which I call the home. And where we have to start, especially parents, fathers, we need to start with our men, our young men, our young boys. We need to start indoctrinating into them the value system. Start training them or coaching them how to deal with women. Because it could be difficult because women think different to us, But I think what we need to do is start grooming our men here, the fathers especially. Because I always say, you could probably disagree with me here. I always say, you hear people, I know there's a lot of single parents, female parents, a lot of women who are single, raising boys and girls. There are some men, but you hardly hear about them because they wouldn't come out and talk about it because they figure they're not that important to talk about, because that role they're playing shouldn't be their role, it should be mommy role, but that's wrong. It's both parties' role. But circumstances happen and men end up taking care of a child or two or whatever. No. I always say a woman bringing up a son cannot teach him to be a man. A man bringing up a daughter cannot teach her to be a woman. He can impart or she can impart value system. There are things that he can say or mommy could say to the boys or the father could say to the girl children. Because the way how it is make up, men think different, women think different. A man or a dad could say certain things about relationship, he can share the mistakes not to make. Daughter, this is what you need to look for in a man, but he cannot grow her to be a woman, and vice versa, a woman to her son. She can bring him up. Now mind you, there are a lot of females who have brought up their sons who end up being positive role models, but because somewhere along the line there was a contributor, and a contributor being a male contributing to his life. Vice versa, with the daughter and the father, there's always a woman contributing, because the father probably may have another partner who will make an impact in her life. Same thing with the woman, she will probably have a male partner who will also, because he now become a role model towards the boy. Even though the dad is not around, but he's a role model to him. So you find what will happen, the boy will interact with that guy who's in a relationship with mommy because he's protecting mommy.
Yes, I hear that.
Right?
Yeah.
Same thing with the girl. If a father is growing up a girl child, she is actually, you know what, girl children are very particular with their fathers. I'm talking from experience, because they will question daddy. So who's this woman? You like her? So what's the situation? What's the future home for all here? Because remember, who she knew was mommy and daddy. So now daddy's bringing her up, whether if mommy's not around anymore, whether it's deceased or whatever, unfortunately. So a lot of girl children will look at that. They will interact with dad, girlfriend, or other half. And that other half, if she is in a relationship with daddy, obviously she'll want to play a part in her life. And it's the same thing with the mother. If there's a man in her life besides husband or whatever, he wants to play a part in the young lady's life or the young boy's life. Yeah, what do you think?
I would agree with that. And I think that's the thing. When parents split up from each other, or when couples split up, it's so important for them to make sure that when they're choosing the next partner, they've got to choose it as a packaged family. You probably are not going to have as many choices as you would as a single person. You're going to be you'd be a bit fussy about you when you're just starting out. I want this and that. I want him to look this way. I want her to look that way.
Correct.
And when you've got children in the mix, that I think becomes very important in terms of who you choose to partner with, because if that person cannot slot into the family, even if you think if you think they're the world to you, you will soon lose that interest when you see that they're not getting on with your children, or your children are not getting on with them. So I do think it's about choosing your partner wisely, be very discerning, and be prepared to downgrade certain areas to get a good balance, is what I feel.
Yeah, because when you look at it, I've been even my last marriage, I've been in my marriage had stepchildren, and even that is something that we have to take
on board,
too, because sometimes you get into marriages or relationships that there's stepchildren, but the flip side of that, the dangers of that too, is that sometimes the stepchildren do not receive you. They don't receive the woman, or they don't receive the man, because you see children, when you have children coming out of a marriage or a relationship that has broken up, they always tend to believe that mommy and daddy shouldn't have gone their separate ways. But because of the fact that you have never sat down with them and said, when you separated, mommy or daddy didn't sit down and say, well, this was the reason why we went our separate ways. So what you do, you actually set a tone for these children. So when mommy gets into a relationship again, or dad gets into a relationship again, they could accept that individual, because they know mom and dad couldn't make it. Right. But sometimes what you find in a lot of step relationships, I always say, I remember years ago doing back in Trinidad, when I was doing a radio program back home with the call with men in mind with my colleagues. I always say a stepfather is actually someone who steps in for the man who steps out for the father. Yes, that's what it is. Yeah, a stepfather is somebody who steps in for the man who decides to step out. Both ways, even with the stepmother. So sometimes you have step relationships that goes well, because of the fact you have broken the ice, which supposed to be you have broken the ice with your children. And I always say, you know what, when we separate and we get into other relationships, it's always good if you go into a relationship with a woman, especially a man. It's easy for a man to get into a relationship. Remember I said that earlier. It's very easy for a man to get into a relationship quicker than a woman.
I think as well, men need relationships more than women.
We do.
So
honestly speaking that, because that's how we make up.
I think men, they tend to lose themselves a bit if they're on their own for too long.
Yeah, and we want to breastfeed still. We want to breastfeed still. And it's facts.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, it depends too. But again, you break the ice. So when you get into that relationship, you have no problem. Because I have friends who, in step relationships, their stepchildren call their stepfathers daddy, more than daddy who supposed to be dad, more than daddy who was the biological father. And again, I must say to the men who have neglected their homes, who have stepped out for the other man to step in, even though because of circumstances you did that, breaking that communication with your children, your biological children, is the most dangerous thing you can do, because it affects them mentally.
Oh God, yes, I agree. I totally agree with that. Because it's more than just the DNA, the physical DNA. It's the mental DNA, the emotional DNA,
which is worse than the physical. Actually, you know, the physical will show scars.
Yeah, that will yes.
Yeah, but the mental, that actually is worse. I mean, even
that shows up as scars in later relationships for the children.
Because that's where the baggage, what we call baggage.
Yeah.
When people talk about baggage, it feels that suitcase, but some women actually walk with suitcases, If you understand what I'm saying, you walk with more than one suitcase, right? I have been in that position in life already. I've been, mentally abused because of the fact that it wasn't physical, mentally in the sense of the things that you say to that individual. Because what you're doing, you're actually setting a tone for that individual now. damaging their psyche for them before they could get into another relationship. That's why you find today a lot of women, there are a lot of single women because their psyche have been damaged.
Wow. Yeah, I think, was it you who said 75% of women are single? Are you serious?
It could be more, because I talk to a lot of them daily, even back in my own in Trinidad, but it has reached a proportion because our men today are not, how to say it, some of our men, quote unquote, some of our men today are more into it. That's why I read that thing about why, when I asked men what's the reason of getting into a relationship, is it just for sex, or is it for companionship, or is it for you want to leave a legacy for your children and for your next generation? Most men today, what they do is they want to get into a relationship because of sex. And you would see a nice good looking woman and you say like, oh wow, you know what, you would start to go now, you're driving, you're blinging, you're thinking just a tracker. Some women, they are so weak, they get caught up. And the first thing is that I use this phrase. I can remember asking a young lady, I said, tell me something, are you like a clothespin? You know what, because she has like about 6 children and she's only like 25, so she didn't understand what I was saying. I said, are you a clothespin? And she said, a clothespin? What? Isn't a clothespin something you hang on line? I said, yes. I said, how do you use a clothespin when you are hanging clothes on the line? Do you not squeeze the head and the bottom part open?
Wow. And what was her response?
She couldn't answer. She can answer. So it's that reality today with most of our young women. You know, we tend to, a lot of them tend to grapple to the nice boy, the boy with the 10, 20 pack. But are you looking at the physical nature of the individual, or are you looking at the internal aspect? That's the question.
Yeah, I think the physical aspect.
It's good, it's good, nothing wrong with it. But most of the time you actually look at the physical. Because what you want to do, you want to put that man on a pedestal, or you want to put a woman on a pedestal because you're using them as trophies. You want to drive them out, you want to carry them out so your friends can see them. Oh man, you have a lovely woman. Every man wants a good-looking woman. Every woman wants a good-looking man. But good-looking doesn't guarantee you long-term relationship.
Definitely not. It's like it's the cover, isn't it? The cover of the book. What's inside?
Thank you. You open the book and it's like, what's
not
this?
Very much going on.
Thank you. Yeah. So I think we should try to ask the people out there who are listening, probably call us, share your views, especially our men and women. Share your views, be real.
Men, please call in. Yes,
give us your experience.
Mike the man has come all the way from London to speak to you. So
yeah, and I didn't sleep on the coach because I was wondering what am I going to sleep. I'm coming to battle.
He's made many copious notes. So
yeah, and then I'm here all alone with beautiful, so you know what's going on. It's like we have to change that. It's not battle of the sexes anymore. It's just conversation now.
So shall we give the details? In fact, we're here. We're staying over. We're staying longer on the show for you. So it's 077 857 29687, or you can call 0161 312 1548. Or if you're very shy like me, you can use the chat room. And
who didn't know you're shy? Who didn't know you're shy?
I think
so. So what you're saying, you're an introvert.
I may be, yes, I may be one of those.
You can't be maybe introvert. It's either you're introvert or you're extrovert.
I think everybody has both sides. It depends on
circumstance.
Yeah, it depends on circumstance.
So you're saying you are, because I heard you mention you are the quiet side, so you are actually introvert. Do you think being introvert? Are we on the opposite side? I should be sitting down.
That's what I'm realizing. I've been interviewed on the show.
Yeah, but to be honest, do you think? Well, it's a back and forth. We sharing.
Of course.
Yeah. Do you think that being
it's a conversation?
Yeah. So that's why I say we change the context from battle of the sexes to no conversation.
Well, that's what I wanted to actually before we end that segment. That's the thing, because I asked you and you answered that question and what have you. Do you feel hopeful for the young ones?
That's what you're talking about.
Because they are going to be the ones in the future. Because really, if you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, it's nice, relationship is nice, but is it that important to people of that age group? But it is very important for the young ones, because they're going to produce the next generation. And the generations, those.
You know what? To be honest, when we talk about young, I would not I wouldn't.
Michael, someone's saying, Tiana's saying she totally agrees with you about the co-step parenting, and that you're right.
What's her name?
Tiana.
Hi Tiana, nice to hear you. Thanks for your response. You know where Radio Diamond is? If you cook today, you can actually bring lunch in a container, leave it by the door, we'll pick it up.
Are you hearing that, Tiana?
What I was saying, thanks Tiana, what I'm saying is that I would not force any young person. I remember my son, actually, he's Kevin now, he's what, 23? I remember being in London. One of the things he does often, he always either WhatsApp me or he will call me and he will say, Dad, I met this young lady. Talk to me. What? Give me some of your input.
Tiana's laughing at your she sent a laugh out loud. Yeah.
He would call me again because of the connection I have. He would call me and say, Dad, I met this young lady. This is he. One thing my son will do is if he meets a young lady and he thinks he wants to have a relationship, he calls me to find out. So I say to him, I'm not no love daddy, but I'm just your daddy. So I would share with him.
That's really good though.
Yeah, he does. And actually, when I was back home like a year or two ago, I met the young lady and I did take them, sat in my living room.
Wow.
I put him not next to each other, but I put him across one side of the room and she sat on the other side. So I was in between both of them and I questioned them about their future, what they see in each other, what is the reason, why do you like my son? Are you coming to my son because he lives in this house, his dad is going to kick the bucket soon, dead like a Sam because he's 2 feet up in the air, you believe that you're going to get the house if you get in a relationship with him. I was being real because I was using reverse psychology on her and saying, what do you really want to have why do you want to have a relationship with my son? Now I'm speaking on behalf of my son.
Yes.
Because I'm actually protecting him. But then I asked him the same question also. Why do you want to have a relationship? So 2 young people until this day they're still together. Now he's and he's saying to me, Daddy, you know what? Even though they are converting otherwise horizontally, I said to him, always wear your boxing gloves because you do not want an unwanted child that you cannot take care of. And for young people today, one of the things they believe in having a child at this early age, they could be proper parent. But again, you haven't gone to the lengths and breadth of understanding what parenting is about. It's not easy to bring up a child like that. So some people figure, I want a baby, or I want, it's good. But then at the end of the day, are you really mentally and physically and spiritually ready for that?
I'm thinking as well, that's the thing. There's some young people, there's quite a few young people that are opting out of having children at a young age. And then obviously there's some who want. What's your thoughts on that? And what have you noticed in your circles through your coaching?
You know what? Actually, it's balance. Yeah, it's balance.
I would say.
Yeah, it's balance. And as Lisa was saying earlier on, it's choice, isn't it? Yeah. It all boils down to choice. And again, I would say, do not rush. I would tell any young person, the best thing to do is have your friend or girlfriend use that line. This is my girlfriend. Not someone to be sexually involved because you want to have sex. When that time reaches, you want to be responsible enough when you start to have sex that you will, whatever happens, you can take responsibility.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
What about money in young people? Because jobs and all these different things. That's another big part to be. And does money?
It's planning the future, isn't it?
Does money have an impact on relationships these days more than they did say?
I think yes. I think yes, because some of these young people, they because of the fast trend changing world, they want to be in line with what is happening, so they always want to be on topper. So a young lady always like to learn, do you want to dress properly, look good? Hey, I for that. You keep yourself, because what you're doing, you're making yourself more attractive to a good guy coming along, or vice versa with the guy. You're not going to look skimpish and stuff. But one of the problems I have with a lot of these young men today is that they tend to kind of pull themselves down now, where they wear their pants like it's just close to the knee. And you could imagine there are young ladies today who would love a young man for that. Again, it's choice. But then what type of value system is that?
That's interesting. Would you say, because I've heard it said by some men that women design how men how men carry themselves and what men do. And a lot of guys say that women don't want the good guy with the going to study and do their having a job. They want these guys who look a certain way, are charming and say all the right things, but maybe they can't back it up. And it's the way guys, the fashion that you see guys wearing, it's because the women, they get it. They're not going to wear those things if they're not if it's not working.
And you know what? Just like what I said earlier, they want to have a trophy boyfriend to show off. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously nothing wrong with him looking good, nothing wrong with her looking good, but because you want your friends. Because it's like competition.
Right.
Hey, she has a nice boyfriend, or he has a nice woman, isn't it? But then at the end of the day, is that what you really want? Nothing wrong with looking good. Nothing wrong with looking good for both parties. But then at the end of the day, when it comes to the relationship part of it, as we were talking about earlier when I talk about the colors and the thing, you keep a certain standard, but then again, if you're in a relationship for years and you still come home to your wife who looks in that sort of manner, you don't want that. Even though you know the party, what you want is you want to come home, both parties, a man or a woman, coming home to somebody's looking topper. Yes, it's not saying that you can't have the colors, but you always, as a woman, you always want to leave that, because you know what? The interest that you don't show in that man, another woman is going to show in him. Vice versa for the
But
woman.
you know what they say? They say you can, people think the grass is greener on the other side, but guess what? You still have to mow it.
Yeah.
So there could be curlers over there as well.
It could be curlers, it could be the what
could
do you
be
think?
worse.
Yeah, these things you put on your face, this white.
The pack, the face pack.
Yeah, when it finishes, like your face heavy, or the men will put. And the funny thing about it, I know of women who try to keep themselves always topper because they want to make sure that the man don't go outside it and look for someone else. Because you.
But is that enough? I mean,
No, it's not.
It's
not. That's what I'm saying. It's not about the beauty on the outside only. It's about the internal. It's about dealing with.
And I think it's about what Lisa or Deanne said about changing. Sometimes people change and they grow apart.
Yeah, it happens in relationships a lot. Again, because you haven't lit the continue lighting the fire. What happens in relationships a lot is that, from my experience and from knowing a lot of people talking to them, is you find that the flame goes out pretty quickly, because from the time you get married, the whole status quo, everything changes. Because listen, what happened? You see me, I married now, so she ain't going nowhere. Or you see me, or she would say, you see me, I get my husband, so he ain't gonna go nowhere. What? Excuse me? Come on, get real, ladies, get real, guys. A marriage doesn't guarantee a long-term relationship. It doesn't guarantee you staying in that marriage for years. You have to work at it. You have to do the right thing. And as always said, that ring that you put on that finger is only a symbol. It's only a symbol. It's a symbol because listen, I know women who wear ring today. I know men who wear ring. Look at mine. You know why? Because sometimes they tend to wear to ward off other people. That's exactly. Yeah. So wearing a wedding band doesn't constitute somebody staying away from trying to tackle you or trying to tackle him. It all have to do. It boils down to the both parties. Yes, you want to go through the whole scenario about getting married, everybody. Listen to me, this damn thing. Picture this. We getting married, we spend the thousands of dollars, drinks, we prepare everything in the reception. Okay. We go before the priest or the pastor or whoever, we stand up, both of us up there, making our man-made vows and stuff.
Man-made vows?
Yeah. So when you decide you get introduced, we now introduce Mr. and Mrs. Lewis, everybody clapping. Now when you start to walk down that aisle, who walking down the aisle with you? Is the congregation walking on the side or behind you, in front of you? Who walks down the aisle?
Oh, on down the aisle, it's you and it's the lady and her father, isn't it?
No.
Oh, you mean walking away when it's all
when
done?
You're going out the chair.
Oh yeah, you and your new
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you sit in the car, who you sit with?
You and your new.
Yeah, only the driver that you have to pay probably a little 5,000 to drive the car. But it's always you and your wife, or always your wife and a husband. You don't see anybody else. So I say this to say this. At the end of the day, in your relationship, it's always you and your spouse.
That's right. That's right.
So when you start to involve the third party, the mother-in-law start to come involved because the mother-in-law start to say, he or your friend say, well, leave him if he this or if he that, or the man telling you, he's a sissy man or she doing it that, well, walk away and go. That's so much nice woman outside. That's wrong. That's wrong. So it happens. So we have to be honest and real in our relationships today. And to answer the question in the future, if we don't start grooming our young women and grooming our young men and teaching them and educating them about relationships, things to expect, because they are going to experience their own trauma. They're going to have their own experiences. Their experience is not going to be the same thing like what you and I experience. What you're doing, you injecting into them some reality. You're giving them a reality wake up. Before you get married, expect this is what you need to do, look at it. Then when you are ready mentally, physically, and most important, spiritually, then you're good to go. Those 3 attributes are important.
Okay, Tiana's come back with her husband likes natural. He doesn't like the fake nails, etc. What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with you.
The makeup and the hair and the
but you know what?
the nails.
No, you know what? This could be balanced. This could be controversial for some women. Because men don't put makeup and all that kind of thing. Most thing a man will do is cut his hair, look neat.
And go for it.
Yeah,
that's
because
it.
the woman actually will tell him, make sure you mark your hair properly. Make sure you trim that beard or the mush properly. She will tell him. But a man don't always say to a woman, babes, I wait upon the fake nails, I wait to draw the hair. No, it depends. I don't have a problem with that, but sometimes I have a problem. But I believe it's good to be natural. Because why would you want to put a set of makeup and all them kind of thing to do what? To impress your husband. Be natural. If he likes it, no problem. Nothing wrong with putting on the makeup. But don't put it on to impress him.
What she's saying, each man looks at what he finds exciting or attractive in a woman. And what I would say, adding to that, because myself and Deanne, we were talking about that last week a little bit.
Just before, don't forget the food.
Yeah, don't forget the food, Tiana. He's waiting, a hungry belly. So I do think women tend to dress these days. They tend to dress for themselves. Because you've got on the one side, you've got women who are very natural, very, very beautiful, very natural, and they're very comfortable with that. And then you've got the women, with the hair and maybe makeup, maybe the nails, the eyelashes, the whole spectrum. Mm-hmm. So I think some guys like that, some guys don't, and I think it is a choice thing.
Yeah, choice.
And but I think at the end of the day, everyone is always natural at the end of the at the night time.
Because at the night time,
everybody's natural.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you can be natural at the night time, continue being natural. Nothing wrong with putting on a little lipstick and stuff. But you know what? To touch on that part of women dressing, it's the same thing with men. Men dress to attract the female. Women dress also. Some women also.
And I think people learn from their parents. I think men will dress based on maybe how his father was and maybe how her mother was, or
correct is correct is correct.
Yeah, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean nothing wrong with that, but don't that's where the danger lies, because what you are doing is actually for the women. What they're actually doing, and I'm sure a lot of them get caught up with this, is that you see me, I go put on the fake nails, I go put on the makeup, I go put on the false hair, and I go put on the shortest skirt, because I think when you rave, when that guy see me, it's like, again, it goes back to the loving with the eyes, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Oh wow, she looks good, man. But then when she takes it off now, it's a different ball game, because he's going to pull back.
As well, her personality as well. Is she? Hold on, there's more. Oh right, Tiana's coming with the chicken, the rice and peas, and the salad.
Oh man, do you have callaloo with crab? If there's callaloo, bring crab, please. I've left Trinidad with no callaloo from somebody. And that's good. Thank you very much. I will receive it with love. And if you're bringing it, just draw a heart on the container so I know it came with love.
Know where it's coming. Yeah, because it might be from someone else. You've got to make sure it's the right person.
And make sure it's with love, because if it's not with love, I probably wouldn't eat all. So if you want me to eat all, just dish it out with love for me, please. And if the hussy is home, just tell him it's coming from Mike the man. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank
so
you, Tashana. That's lovely of you. I
so
appreciate
Tiana's heard that message, and I'm sure she'll be bringing
Imagine
it
I come
with her
quite
own
Manchester to get
hands.
lunch. Quite Manchester. Should I relocate and come here and live?
Mike is yeah. Go on to answer your question as you were going.
So, we have to be careful. When it comes to, some people tend to hide behind the curtains when we're dealing with relationships, and we tend to not address the serious issues. Even parents in home, we tend to turn a blind eye when things are happening to our daughters, when it is happening to our sons. Because what we tend to say, the biggest mistake we make is we tell them this. When you see you make a choice, you go out there, they get pregnant, or you go out there and you find a woman and she's bad. But what you're supposed to do is say, okay, come, let me talk to you. What went on? This is it. Because that's the communication you ought to have with them. So what you're doing is you're giving them the assurity, and you're telling them, actually, I went because they came to you. They didn't go to nobody else. So mom is talking to son or daughter, dad is talking to son or daughter, and it's actually giving them, imparting in them that type of, how to say, is love as a parent, but it's giving them the assurity with their relationship. Oh, what is she saying?
She's coming with the food, and she's bringing hubby as well to meet you.
Oh, why is she bringing? No, please. Is he going to stay in the car? Oh, please.
I'm not sure. He might want to come and hold you. He might want to shake your hand.
Yeah, but I can't come to Manchester to get slapped up and think of people girlfriend. Right? If he's bigger than me, let him stay out. You can come in his team. So thanks very much for that. So we have to be careful, because when our children comes to us, we just like my son, when he wants to be sure. No, I think the reason my son normally come to me is because he has seen me. I haven't been into multiple relationships. I don't have no problem saying that because I'm a real man. I haven't been in a lot of relationships, but I had a lot of female friends. And because he has seen them come into my home, interacting with them as friends, right? Not bedding them, but as friends, he expected that.
Wow,
so when he see that, and he knows my communication with women to that point, because of the type of person I am, he will ask me those questions, because he will want to know, Dad, what do you think of woman and stuff. I think he also talks to his mom, but he will quick, because he has grown up with me, he will quicker interact with his father, son. Thank you.
Oh, wow,
so I don't ever turn him away, and you men, whoever is listening today outside there, guys, when your son comes to you, it don't have to be relationship, anything. He may be in problems, whatever it is, sit and talk to him, because what you're actually doing, if you don't, you are actually sending your son back out into the society or into the community to interact with another role model who may misdirect him and down the wrong path, either drugs, crime, something. And listen, it happens. It happens because when you're not getting food at home, you will go outside in the restaurant. It comes like your gas finish home, and you just didn't feel to go for gas. You and wifey or whoever, you go outside and you buy food. So if you don't get it at home, if you don't get the food at home, you could go outside and look for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, a point I want to touch on, you mentioned it, but we kind of didn't go any further. You talked about the beginning of a relationship or marriage, the honeymoon period. And I just wanted you to touch on how can that be revived, because I feel the honeymoon period is where the couple are drugged by Mother Nature. You know, they feel they're obsessed with each other. They can't, they want to talk to each other all the time, and then suddenly, when they both commit, it gets a little bit stale. So what I feel is, it's about recreating that. And
correct.
What would you say? What tips would you give people to keep that going?
That's very interesting, because for me, I have experienced that in my last marriage, because you always want to do everything perfect at the start, but then when you see it tied up, not like I said earlier, everything just like fall apart for some marriages. And I think it's good. The things that you used to do before you got married, or before you decide to commit your life long term, that you used to do before, positive, not
positive things,
positive things, dating your wife, or women could date their husbands, A woman could say, babes, I'm carrying you out X, Y.
And it doesn't even have to be out. You could have like a romantic meal for two.
No, but you can
with the candles.
Listen, the ambience
is everything
in your home says everything. So the fact, if you don't have children or if you have children and you don't choose to go out, send them by grandparents or call a friend, say, listen, I want to, I want to spend some time with my hubby, or I want to spend some time with my wife. You cook something home, men, you make something for your wife, because women love that, guys. They love to see men in a kitchen, and because what they do, when a woman sees a man in a kitchen, you know what she does?
Go on, Mike, tell us.
She comes, she puts her arms around him while he's in his apron. She hugs him. You know how that man feels? Oh, my pulse is raising here right now. You know how that feels? That actually sends shivers, and it sends something to the brain that is telling it, hey, my baby got me.
Wow.
Because she actually walked into the kitchen. I'm speaking from experience in my early year. She hugs him because here he is preparing lunch, and it can happen both ways. The man could do the same thing. Women like to be hugged. They like to be, especially from behind, not from in front. Because what you're actually doing, you're giving a sense of security when you hug her. Two of us.
So the physiology is part of the communication.
Yes, and that's part of communicating with your wife, because what you're doing, you're communicating spiritually, and sometimes you tend to find. Now listen, this thing is so deep in the sense of women. Even when you stepped into your house, you come from both parties. Just the ambience in the house sets off that love relationship. So if you come into a house and the atmosphere is like, oh my goodness, most time men turn away and go back in.
Do you think that's part of the problem?
Yeah.
Especially now with both parties out working.
Yeah. So because they don't have time to spend with each other. And then you find a woman is in her workplace, she's interacting with her colleagues. The man is in her workplace, he's interacting with her colleagues. His colleagues might want one of the colleagues to say, hey, let's go here and enjoy ourselves. The colleagues will say, hey, where are you rushing home for? You have seen coming home now, let's go and enjoy. Now what you're actually doing there, what should be actually happening? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with mingling with your colleagues, but you know what, it happens often. What you need to do is say, wait, you know what, I should call my babes, or, both parties, honey, I'm meeting you XYZ. Let's get together, we go to lunch, and that's where now you're setting the tone for when you reach home, what's gonna happen after that. Right? Okay. So you have to set that love tone. Even if you're both parties working, set the love tone. Meet somewhere, go to a restaurant. Even if you want to go to a hotel and you don't want to be home, do it. Because sometimes it's good to come out of your living environment. Because the peer pressure, the pressure of the home, knowing that, oh gosh, my bill go come. Sometimes you come home and see a letter with a bill that comes, you don't have the money to pay, that triggers you off. And the mere fact that you don't come home and see that at that particular time, but you decide to go elsewhere, it gives you a different perspective, because you come home and you settle. Okay, baby, we just came out from this environment, a nice, loving environment. You came home and you meet a bill, and this is what happened. This is what comes, and you handle it differently. So if you come out from an environment that is negative, what do you think will happen?
If it's negative, it's just going to grow into something. Exactly. And if that's happening every single day, it's building up. You're investing in negativity.
So for every couple, whether you're in a relationship, marriage or whatever, even common law relationships, it's always good to keep the fire burning. And keeping the fire burning, you can do it home. Listen, women like to be serenaded. They like, see music.
You know what I want to say to you? Because everything you're saying is so right. But a lot of couples, because the work I do talk to people as well around this area. So this is why relationship is really interesting. And they say they do a lot of these things, but what sometimes happens is, what I want to ask you, do you feel, and I don't know if we touched on it earlier on, but do you feel that with the advent of the internet, the mobile phone, and the way movies and everything is constructed, do you really feel that a lot of ideas are being poured into people? This is good, but this is so much better, Or why can't we do it? You know, both people. One person might want to change the structure of the relationship because they've seen on the internet something, and the other person is like, no, I don't want to go there.
Which is fake.
Some people want to relocate. Some people want to say, let's go away and move somewhere else because I've seen this place, somewhere. Go on.
Sorry, and you're correct, because even what we see now, I remember in the 80s, you have all these soap operas on television, and what you find in these soap operas is a lot of relationships going bad, going fighting. Who won this actor or this person in the soap opera leaving and going and having a relationship with another person, and it's a sort of that's exactly what happened. So when you sit and you look at this, remember the psyche, the mental psyche, it plays on your mental psyche.
For sure.
It's portraying, as you rightfully say, that's good to take place. So most times you find a male or a female say, we could try this, this probably might work, but really and truly it's just a movie, it's just a show that is being put on, which shouldn't be. So the internet, the advert, which is good because it's very informative, you can find information, but it also have its dangers, even for relationships. Now I'll tell you, I don't know if I can say it, even with the advert of porn, it normally damages relationships.
Thank you. Porn is one of the biggest. I get a lot of calls from people I work with where their partners are more into, and what's happening, what they've said medically, it's causing men to become impotent, and it's causing a big problem because these perfect looking women, and then you've got your real woman.
You know what, that's an interesting topic. Let's elaborate on this. And we've been really on this program today. Porn has destroyed a lot of relationships.
And it's affecting the young men in a bad way as well.
Young men now, because even young women, what you find is, all right, with the advert of internet, the dangers, there's positive, there's negative. When you have children behind closed doors now in homes, where you have internet in your home, now you no computer in your room, you have your phone or your tablet. You find a lot of these young, I'm dealing with the young ladies now, and then I'll deal with the young men. You find a lot of these young, because mommy and daddy don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Most of the time, a lot of these young people, let's put it in general, a lot of these young people today, both male and female, they look at a lot of porn. Now, what happens is that what they're seeing is what they want to act out. So you find they may be groomed online, somebody they may meet. Some young guy out there will start telling them, hey, baby, you look good. They use the webcam to show them. And you know what happens? They normally will leave the home, will meet this person somewhere, and they go and they have the sexual encounters. Because of the fact that what they have seen or what they're seeing, they believe that that's the correct thing to do. But again, this is where the parent comes in. Now, the parent this is where the sex part, the part of sex education is important, even in your home. Because we need to tell our children about sex.
You can't rely on the school.
Exactly. So it goes both ways, both ways. So the porn now, and even relationships, what is happening? Oh my goodness.
And that's the thing, a lot of couples say the man sees things, he wants to try that with his partner, and it might not be
some women, from some women I've been speaking to, they always say, even though we have all these toys and whatever, some of them are saying, majority of them who I spoke to are saying they don't really want that. What they want, and as you rightfully say, when the man becomes impotent, she has no other choice because she wants to satisfy herself. But satisfying herself is that's not what she needs. That's not what she wants. Because I'm in a relationship, I have a companion, even though he has reached to this point. But then again, guys, there are other ways and means of satisfying your woman. It doesn't mean penetrative is always the goal. So this is the advert of when you have these toys come in, and that's the problem. Yeah.
So this is the thing. So what I'm finding is there's so many components that or obstacles attacking the relationship, and how are a man and a woman because a lot of men as well are devastated. Their wives or girlfriends are leaving them because they feel I've met somebody who's a bit more and So it's working both ways. I'm finding both men and women are finding relationships very, very difficult.
I think again we go back to the point of...
Do you think we should take a short break?
Just give the information, numbers and stuff again.
Yeah, if anyone wants to call in, text in 077-857-29687. We have gone way over for you, and we've got 0161 312 1548 for the line for you to call. So we're just going to take a 2-minute break, and we will be back.
Love my dread. Whoa, yes, 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 yeah. Prettier than the whole world. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you. You're more than one girl's man, and I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to be loved by you. Not to get it would hurt to know. If you ever dread, ever run through, you're sweeter than the taste of the cherry, so sweet. And I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to be loved by you. Not to dread, I love you. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Compliments to you from all the naughty dreads we meet, and I'm so proud, 'cause I love you too, and I'm so proud to be loved by you. That's it.
Yes, it's the Imani Speak Show here on the fantastic Radio Diamond, and I have Mike the Man still in the house with us, and we are just asking, I'm just pouring questions and the answers are just coming back fast and furious. And Mike, I really want to look at a couple of things now that could also be part of relationship issues? Because I think it's an important question. I mean, people might say, why are they talking about, relationships and the battles and that? It is important because that's what most people are talking about outside of, everything else. So anyway, let's have a look. So, Mike, can you tackle for me how impotency, prostate cancer and the menopause can affect relationships
I think that's
and cause its demise?
Yeah, you know what? That's such a big, very big issue in relationships today, because when you think about it, I always ask people, why would you leave your spouse if he becomes impotent? And a woman will quicker, some women will quicker walk out of that type of relationship than a man also. But then again, even if a woman's menopause...
Do you think a woman's more likely to leave a man in that condition than for a man to leave a menopausal woman?
Yeah, I think, good question. I think the woman, it depends on their status in the marriage and what they believe in, in the sense of, listen, even if he gets sick, I made a commitment, a lifelong commitment to my husband, whatever position he is, I will stay. I don't necessarily need to go outside it and look for another man to satisfy me, but he's going outside it to another man is just satisfying you sexually. That doesn't make sense. Same thing with the man. So even if it has its downside when a man has reached that stage, and most men, it happens now, women reach the stage of menopause, but it doesn't give you the impetus or the right to say, you know what, that is what's happening with us, let's go our separate ways. But then again, what sense it makes? Because it's a health issue, so why would you want to separate?
Well, it then brings us back to this thing called love. Does the ability for both parties to partake in the relationship on a physical basis, is that part of love? And if that goes, should that be expected? Say in the beginning when people come together, again, is that a conversation people should have, or is it really difficult for people to know what they will do until they reach that?
Yep, I'm correct. To answer that question, I would always say yes. Those are things that you need to deal with before you come.
But if you're 20, how do you know? Well, for you, menopause and impotency and prostate cancer, it's like ancient.
But any age now, young women.
Well, because young men are getting
exactly. Again,
it
goes back.
You're so right.
It goes back to keeping yourself healthy. It goes back to other mental issues. It goes back to other issues health-wise where you're not eating properly, you're not doing certain things properly, so it brings on all these ailments. So at the end of the day, these are things that need to be discussed even before you get into a marriage, or even if you're in a marriage. Babes, I expect this to happen to you some point in time. I expect this to happen to you some point in time in life. I'm not going to leave you. Majority of the women will stay in a relationship with a man if he's impotent, because most of the time she doesn't look at the fact sex is important. Men tend to look at sex as important because they tell themselves, listen, I can't this, whatever, and my wife is menopausal, she can't satisfy me. Let me go look for some little young girl. But then, are you thinking about yourself when you become impotent, that you can't perform? How you think she's going to take? Do you think she's going to say, let me go outside? I give a lot of women credit now because a lot of them would not leave the relationship. A man will quicker walk up than a woman because she wants her marriage, or she wants to be a relationship, and she goes beyond the boundaries.
So it's about what are you committed to? Maybe the woman is committed to the marriage, everything inside, and some men might be committed to when things are going good. What's that saying in the marriage? It's for better or worse. Maybe they're committed to the better, but not the worse.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it begs the question: what is your, like I asked earlier, what's your reason on your purpose of getting married? Why do you want to get married? And are you just getting married because you want to have sex, you want to have a lady to put on a pedestal, or whatever? What is it? That's it right there. You want to be in a relationship with someone because you want to have a long-term. Most relationships nowadays don't really work out because of the fact that we go into it for the wrong reasons. For the wrong reasons. We go into it for the wrong reason, and that's where the health issues come in. Because if your boyfriend becomes ill, so what are you going going to do? Dump it on the side and say, see me, I want to run up for another man because you can't satisfy me, otherwise you can't provide this. No. If you love that person, you would, and you committed to that person, you will go the long way. You go, and this goes for both male and female. Go the long way until such time.
I totally agree. I feel that commitment should be, and I think the word commitment is about sticking with what you started with long after the excitement is gone. But I don't think people realise what commitment is, and it's as it is. But for you, would you saying you feel that more men would do that? And I would agree with you.
Yeah, more men will walk, and they'll go into another relationship that they believe that could be satisfying sexually, because that's how men operate. Most men, quote unquote, operate. They will go, and that's where you find out children will come again, more children because you have children then. So why would you leave your you leave your relationship because of circumstances, but I don't think you should leave your relationship or your marriage because your wife become she's menopausing, or I don't think you should leave your marriage or your relationship because your husband is impotent. That means, or that is saying, sex was the main mantra for getting into the relationship, sex should be the last thing on your hand, your small finger, your small toe.
Yeah, but I think you said as well, health. If you take care of your health, then those problems shouldn't really pose a problem.
And that's where both parties should always be talking about their health issues. But as I said earlier on in the program, men don't ever talk about their health, because you see the way how men are is like the ego thing. Me had to say I sick, I go dead. One day I go dead, and she go get another man. I talk like a real person.
He's bringing out his
talk like a real. But you know, what happened? If I dead, but that's wrong, because what you're doing, you're actually being unfair to your spouse. You need to let her know. You need to let her know that, hey, this is what's going on with me. This is what's going on with me. Both of you parties. I'm sick, babes. This is what's happening. How could we address it? Because you're in a relationship. Come on. It's all about communication. That's it. Communication. The two C's. Communication and commitment. Communication and commitment. Yeah? Yeah, is love notes only passing across? What is going on? Only passing what? No. Anyhow, men, it's. I'm not hearing you guys calling in. What is you ashamed to talk about your issues? What is it? And I'm not here to. I'm just here to share, educate you guys, and wake you up a little bit. You're talking about your relationship. If you're having issues in your relationship, work on it. It doesn't matter. Work on it. If there's no if you reach a point where there's no way of making a relationship work, instead of hitting her, yes sir, no man should hit a woman. None. The only time you should raise your hands for your woman, and listen out to what I'm saying, the only time you should raise your hand physically for your woman is when she asks you to hang up curtains in your house.
Thank God for that. Mike, the man, come on.
Let me say, or
you have women sitting on the end of their seats.
Yeah, but you wouldn't raise your hand to wash away, because your hands will be down. But no, you don't. Yeah, but most men, when you want to hit a woman, what you do? Not raise your hand to hit her first, right? So here we go. Before you start to think about hitting her in her face and slapping her because she did something wrong, hang up the curtain in the bedroom or the curtain somewhere. Because a man is not a man when he starts to hit his woman. That's being, in my country we call them mongoose. I don't know if you guys in London will know what mongoose is. It's a little thing like a rat that runs in the bush up and down. When you hit a woman, it shows you are weak. You are actually weak. Right? You're supposed to stand with your woman, support your woman, even though she may be wrong. I always remember an old man used to say, he was telling me that his marriage lasted like 50 odd years because of these words he used to say, Deanne. Hear what he used to say. And he told me this. He said, anytime you see your wife or your girlfriend tell you something and you think she wrong, say, yes, darling. Yes, darling. She wrong, but just continue saying, yes, darling. Don't ever say no, because you know what you're going to cause. she's now going to mount you off, then you're going to get vexed. You're going to want to raise your hand instead of hanging up the curtain to hit her. So my advice to you guys, cease from hitting your woman. She wasn't given to you, or you didn't take her from her mother's house. You didn't take her from her parents' house because she didn't take you, you took her from her parents' house. And her parents is expecting that you treat her the way she ought to be treated as a woman and as a wife. So don't take her to beat her. Take her to love her, take her to cherish her. So in return, she will do the same thing for you. And men, as I said, we are emotional. So we would want to be loved also. We don't want oh God, she'll love me. She wouldn't love you if you don't love her. Yeah? So let me get that straight now, all you. You understand? I ain't want to go into my dialect to talk like a Trini. I'm talking Trini, but I'm talking British. So you could understand I'm not talking foolishness. You understand? Yeah. Booyah, booyah, booyah.
Do you want to add anything to that, Deanne? Deanne is back with us, Deanne. We're going to wrap up in about 10 minutes, yeah? What do you think?
Sister Ronnie, I don't think there's anything for me to add. Because usually, as women, we talk about these things, these aspects of relationships, but because it's so nice to hear the male perspective. No, leave it to Michael. I'm going to be a proper woman and know my place.
You know what? I so applaud you for that, because what you actually did there, even though I should have given you the mic to, because it's all about sharing, isn't it? But I applaud you because men have to understand that they are kings in their kingdom. And not because you are a king in your kingdom, it gives you the right to be dominant over your wife or your woman or your subjects. You are a king to rule in the aspect of physically, mentally, and spiritually. Your wife or your children or your other subjects are there to follow you. I'm saying subjects, because I'm just using subjects as some people wouldn't understand that, if we be talking maths, English, Spanish, and all kind of thing. But as a king in your kingdom, you are there to leave a legacy for your children to follow, even for your wife, because your reaction and the way you handle your stuff in your kingdom is what is going to bring that positive aspect of growing a relationship even stronger with your wife and your children. But when you start to not be a king in your kingdom and you start being a mouse in your kingdom, she's going to give you cheese without a cheese. She's going to give you a little bit of cheese with a mouse trap. You understand? If you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, because you became a mouse. You need to be a man. You need to take responsibility as a man in your house. But also the woman also has to understand that there need to be balance. So it's not about the man only, it's about the woman. So it's a twofold thing. Right? Yep. There always need to be a balance. If there's not a balance, all right, put up a house with one pillar and see if it goes stand. A house nothing can stand with one pillar.
Definitely need
foundation, and you have at least 4 pillars because the 4 walls to keep up the house and the roof. So if a man is actually the roof of his family, he's the covering. He's the roof actually, and if he doesn't, and if he doesn't, if he's not able to stand, that roof is not able to stand any pillar. A roof can stand on one pillar. Check yourself. If you put up a pillar in another foundation and put a roof, what will happen? It could be swaying or it could collapse.
It's not gonna go very
it's gonna collapse.
Yeah.
So if you collapse in your home, your whole home will collapse, and then she will go outside and find somebody else to build that home, and then you're gonna start parking your car in front of the house, or you start stalking her, or you start saying you're calling her on the phone. Hey, who's that man in your house? I just leave. Already, you and the man not together a long time, but not knowing that you are damaging her physically all the time, mentally all the time. So women don't want that. And again, men don't want that either. So men, let me say this before we wrap up. Men don't walk away from their castle like that. There's always a reason that a man walks out of his castle. So the woman need to understand that you need to cook the right food, you need to give him the right drink, you need to also satisfy him correctly. But if you cannot satisfy him physically, satisfy him mentally and otherwise. Sometimes satisfying your spouse physically don't always be the answer. Yeah. So Deanne, I'm leaving you until we wrapped up. This is it. I'm not gonna close.
Mike, you have to let people know how can they contact you. You know.
You want them to contact me?
Well, you know.
You see it. All right. You know, you want to give up my numbers. I don't really like because I'm my best stalkers. If you want to find me,
they can find you on Facebook, can't
on
they?
Facebook,
Yeah.
I have 2 pages. I have a page named Let's Talk Men. Guys, if you want to interact with me, you can look for that. Let's Talk Men. And my page actually is, my open page for the public is Wansley, Wansley, Natty Corey, Ian, IAN. And then underneath it, you will see, when you add me, you'll see my other grandson, because I have 3 grandsons, so I have them on my page. You'll see my grandson, I name him Prince Caden. So if you pull up my page, you will see that. I think my profile pic is me sitting. As the profile pic, you'll see that's me there in the profile pic, sitting on a chair saying real talk. And then you'll see that cover as we go back to Self-Made, the book Self-Made by Carl Foster. Carl, if you're listening, I must say thank you very much for this book, mate. I think I'm reading it like over again because I read it and I'm reading again, and it's very informative. On my page, you'll see the Self-Made logo, and it says finding the goodness and greatness within yourself. So you can find me there. Feel free if you want, and we want to chat further on my WhatsApp. If you interact with me on Facebook and I see it fit that you are mentally ready to interact with me, I will then give you my WhatsApp number. So over to you,
Deanne. I think with Deanne should. Yeah.
Deanne standing there watching me like if what? She must be saying, "What they bring me up to Manchester for, man?"
It says they're determined to bring me in, even though I had my say last week. And I just wanted to leave this week to Michael because he has so much to share. He's such a wealth of knowledge and wisdom.
Very much so.
So I really don't have anything else to say because, you know, I had my say last week. So I'm just going to leave it for Sister Imani to wrap up. But I just want to thank Michael for making the effort to come all the way to Manchester to share his words of wisdom.
Yeah, and you know what? And let me say, while you're talking, I didn't come all the way to Manchester because I wanted to come Manchester. Yeah, I did this because I think it was the right thing to do, in the sense of sharing, educating people, whether it's relationship, whatever. Because I am giving of myself. I want to leave a legacy. So I'm not pumping my chest. I'm one of the most humble, free-spirited guy you could ever meet. And I want to thank Imani for actually inviting me. Deanne, who we interact nearly every day, she's so lovely. And it's great being in Manchester. If I have to come back again, I have to buy my coach ticket and come back. Anyhow, it's lovely. It's lovely.
Collection,
yeah, it's lovely being here. And if I have to do it all over, I will. So I want to thank even the management for having me. I'm sure I'm going to be back. One day I'm going to be back. And listeners, just, you know, don't take it as a pinch or so. Yeah, we only passing through here once. You want to be happy, start with your happiness starts with you. Right? So do have a pleasant... Wait now, somebody's supposed to be mentioning?
Rosie is saying that she's very much enjoyed both your guests, all 3 guests actually, and that she hopes to hear you both on the show again.
Yeah, great. Well, once you invite me...
Thank you very much, Rosie.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you, Deanne.
Yeah, they want you to come back very soon.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Yes.
What you can do, I give you my Facebook contact. If you guys want, you can add me on Facebook. Now, I like to interact with people who have been educated and stuff, so you can give her feedback for the show. And I probably might be able to give you my bank account where I can pay to get my ticket to come back. So if I know you don't add me to the Facebook, I know you're not serious, you're just talking. So add me so you can send some money into my account so I can buy a ticket to come back to Manchester. Listen, people, I'm just joking. Thank you very much.
No.
Just playing with your listeners. But do go on Facebook and find Michael.
Find me.
Mike the Man.
Mike the Man, indeed.
Wansley, Wansley, Natty Corey is NAT. N-A-T-I?
N-A-T-T-Y, Corey, K-O-R-I, they go together, Ian, and you must see
Yeah,
him.
go and search for him and have a look at his page and comment.
Yeah.
The wisdom,
It's
yes.
been lovely being here.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you both so much, and thank you to Lisa as well, who was here earlier on.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa.
I've had a great time. I've made copious notes as usual, and
you?
I think it was a wrap. Yeah,
Yes.
it was a wrap.
As I say, it's a wrap. Yes. There you go.
So thank you, Mike, for coming all the way from London. Thank you, Deanne, for coming
My
back.
pleasure.
Deanne has come back, and I'm so.
You do such a lovely show, and you always touch
bless
on
you.
subjects that
thank you.
that we need to discuss.
Oh, bless
the
you.
community, as families, or whatever.
I think it's something needed.
Yeah,
It's
and
something
I've
needed.
already had 3 different people sort of approach me and say, "Oh, do you think Iman would like me to come and?"
Oh.
So I'll be talking to you about that later.
Oh, bless you.
Yes, a lot of people are listening. You might think, we get the odd text, the odd phone calls, but you would be surprised how many people
People are shy.
listening.
And
I
And when
think
I went
people-
shopping,
people are interested.
in Asda, and somebody stopped me and told me how much they enjoyed the show.
No, but people are interested because of the fact that we're not taking up time, but because people want to know the way how things are going now in life today, guys. People are frustrated. You see them walking the streets now. You see them just either their heads are down, their body language is not right, and if you only stand and talk to them, it's because they have problems. People want to hear. It's not about just people want to hear. People want to. I am not the best. I didn't go to university. Let me say this. I didn't go to university to get no diploma like Deanne having all her drawing room full up of all her certificates. The only certificate I have is my birth paper on my wall. So I am actually speaking from my heart and from experience and because of wisdom and knowledge. Yeah, that's me. I'm giving that. So I don't think I need to, even though it's good. But I remember quickly, Deanne and I were sharing something last week, and we were saying even the people who have the certificates, they don't talk like this. They don't. I'm
Might have
serious.
the knowledge, listeners, but they don't have the wisdom.
The wisdom.
Thank you.
That is the important thing. You can have degrees, PhD, whatever. Does not
Thank you.
necessarily mean that you are wise. You can sort of preach things and read things, but the important thing is for you to use that wisdom on yourself, first of all, and to then share that wisdom with those around you.
Correct. Thank you, guys. Nice being here.
Thank you, everybody.
It was hard to come to Manchester, because I'm a Liverpool supporter, but I had no other choice.
You can't mention
No.
Manchester.
Hey, hello.
You're gonna have to huddle him up and get him out of here quick.
No, listen.
City United, you won't get
Hello, are you crazy? You're gonna cover me when I'm going out to that car. Yeah, you're gonna have to hide me because my friends they keep telling me be careful when I'm going to Manchester. People know I'm a Liverpool supporter. You know what? So make sure you take that galvanized or sheet or something when I'm going out to your car and cover me.
You got your coat or something.
That is not big enough. Thank you
to
for
wrap
me.
it
Thank
up.
you. Yeah, man. Yeah.
All right. So this is the end, people. We've given you an extra hour with 2 fabulous guests, 3 fabulous guests, but 2 fabulous guests left with us. And wow, haven't we covered the topic of battle of the sexes? And I think we've come to the conclusion that, relationship is an evolving thing. Yeah? Okay. Thank you. Take care of each other and catch me here next time, same place. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Man, I been up in the dance at school. I say the jamming, I play too much right. But to the past, I've no revenue. Got them, they don't cut them. Cut them, just cut them over. Cut them to kill another sound. Cut the cut them over. That you are champion around town. Cut them ooh, oh way, oh way, oh way, oh la, oh la, oh way, oh way.
Sound it.
I lonely woman. Oh, you are lonely, so sad and blue. wrong with you? Take you home, give you everything you want, make you mine all the time. Lovely, lovely, lovely baby, I know you'll always be my lady. Lovely, lovely, lovely woman, I always love you, I'm the one, yeah. Sitting there, not doing one thing. Tell me what's on your mind. I remember sometimes I was lonely thinking of someone. You are a lonely, 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 lonely baby, and I know that you will be my lady. Give you anything in the world, give you everything you ever want, give you the stars, the sun and the moon, make you be mine forever, give you everything you want, make you feel good as you should. You're a lonely, 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 lovely baby. You will be my lovely, lovely, lovely baby. Tell me no lies, tell me the truth. Is another man in love with you? Don't make me feel blue, I wanna feel glad. Girl, you're looking so shy. You are a lovely, lonely, lovely, lonely baby, and I know you'll always be my honey. You are a lovely, lonely, lovely, lonely baby, and I take you mine forever as my honey. Don't read no storybooks, don't tell me no lies, girl. Look in my eyes, don't ask me why. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah, yeah.
Sound it, sound it, sound it, sound it.
It's a dancehall style, played all the while. Dancehall style. It's a dancehall style, played all the while. Dancehall style. Watch the move by them a curfew the dance. Watch the soldier them a curfew the dance. Why wait? Why wait? Watch the move by them a curfew the dance. Watch the soldier them a curfew the dance. Why wait? Why wait? Load the data, make them jump and prance, and then the data comes be nice up the dance. I love to see how she wind her waistline, I love to see how she moving in time. But the move by them a curfew the dance, the soldier them a curfew the dance. Why wait? Why wait? Yeah. Every night and them brethren a spar, whether them come from near or far. Watch the fires, them a lick blank shot, while the nights them a fire live shot. Watch the mood by them a curfew the dance, watch the shoulder them a curfew the dance. Why wait? Why wait? Yeah. Watch the mood by them a curfew the dance, and the shoulder them a curfew the dance. Why wait? Yeah. Why wait? Yeah. You know I've no time to jump no fence. Why wait? You know I've no time to broke my limbs. Why wait? from that and make we lay down flat. If we get shot, we drop and we back. And if we run, we have a duck from that. God, them the shot, we carry straight a duck cat. We no have no time for just no fence. Why boy? We no have no time for broken limbs. Why boy? The wood boy them a curfew the dance. The soldier them a curfew the dance. Why boy? Hey hey. Why boy? Wait. The wood boy them a curfew the dance. And the soldier them a curfew the dance. Why boy? Boy yes. Why boy? Yes. Loaded dada make them jump and prance. Loaded dada make them come in at the dance. Them ya dada come be nice up dance.